It's January 22nd, 2025. I am at thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky. Time to get in the weeds. I know it's a mouthful. It's a mouthful, and I just can't change it as much as I try. At Joel Pearl on the other places that all the billionaires are now owning and making you follow stupid people at. Anyway, welcome. Jeremy Lambert's here. It's Wednesday, a wonderful, freezing cold Wednesday. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing well. It is allegedly Wednesday. It is very cold. Not allegedly. It's very cold.
What are you looking at in your neck of the woods? Because
let's see.
It is freezing here.
We have a brisk -9.
It feels like -21 Celsius here.
Oh, Celsius.
That's Celsius. That is a -6 for you weirdo Americans.
So, okay. Yeah, it's so we're right there with you. We're at a 0 now, but it feels like a -6.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, it's supposed to get down to -9.
Man, y'all stay safe, stay warm. If you got the means, get some heat going, because it sucks, man. Seeing people saying that, South Carolina, there's Texas. There's South Carolina, there's snow. Texas,
South Carolina, there's Texas. What?
I don't know what's happening in the States. Suddenly, Texas is inside South Carolina. They merged overnight. Don't know what that's about. Listen, your country's on fire. I don't know what's going on half the time. Fair. So, for all I know, Texas is slowly enveloping the land, and suddenly you'll be living in the United States of Texas.
Yeah. It might get renamed. I feel like New Mexico is going to get renamed to like New America. It's
New Merca.
Yeah.
It sounds like a drug, New Merca.
It does sound like a drug, actually.
Talk to your doctor if you're experiencing any issues with New Merca.
Yeah. I feel like that is a drug, honestly. Like, that's got to be the name of a drug. New Merca? It's got to be.
Numurca. New Merca is a town in Australia. Oh, Tenriz is going to be very excited about that. And I'm sure it's pronounced like Numurka. Numurka. The Shire of Numurka. It's on the Murray River, north of Melbourne. Okay, look at us. So Numurka is actually a city, not a drug.
Not yet, anyway.
Give it time. This is also, they spell it Numurkah. So there you go. AEW stars heading there for Grand Slam. Go check out New Merca. That's the new latest spot. I know you're all listening. I know all the talent listens to us and they love us. They're very big on the in the weeds. Big fans of ours. Nobody down talks us.
I hope nobody talks about us. Period.
No, we're golden to them.
Good or bad. Like, you gotta have something.
There's no air in our tires to them.
You gotta have something better to do than like talk about two dorks who talk about you.
I feel that's true. I feel like because like they're all, not everyone, a lot of wrestlers are wrestling fans, and they're curious about some of the reaction.
Yeah,
that's a human instinct, right?
Yeah.
Like people who maybe talk about us or leave comments, and sometimes we look, sometimes we're interested.
I don't. No, you don't. Let's speak for yourself here, Joel. Sometimes you look.
Sometimes I also moderate the comments. So
yes,
we got a really confusing one on the Cora Jade shorts.
Oh, really?
The person like called me a smart mark, but then also said like we need these people around, like we really need them, but it felt earnest, but used the word smart mark. So I was very confused as to what this person was getting at, and I wasn't going to push back. I'm just like, you know what? I choose to take that as a compliment, a very weird backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
They thought that what I was complaining about with Cora was that she's a cool heel. I don't think she's a cool heel. I think she's a dork.
Do you think TNA purposely? You've seen the thumbnail for the video, right?
For ours? Yes.
No. For TNA Genesis.
Over Genesis?
Yeah. Let me pull this up. Hold on.
This is on YouTube. Oh no.
Yeah, this is on YouTube. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna share my screen. So
right.
it shouldn't give anything. Shouldn't really give anything away. Hold on. You see it, right? Do you think they purposely made that the thumbnail for the video, the hardcore cry, because they heard you on Monday? Because this was uploaded, I think it was uploaded like shortly after our show. So I feel like they purposely made this the video or the thumbnail.
I know of people in TNA, both in front of and behind the camera, who watch the TNA post show or listen to it after the fact. I've gotten a few messages being like, I listen to you while I work out or I'm on my morning commute. Like, I get that sometimes and I appreciate it. Like my very famous one was David LaGreca from Busted Open when they were doing their shtick. I kind of went off a bit and I was wearing a Motorhead t-shirt and he DM'd me and he was just like, thanks for your comments. And P.S. nice Motorhead shirt. And I was like, oh shit, people care. I love David LaGreca. I just didn't care for the Busted Open angle. My point of all this being, I don't know who listens to this show because this show's weird. It's a morning show. Like, we are entertainment, but then we add in some of our thoughts and feelings towards wrestling news and angles and storylines. Like, we're a very traditional podcast like that, but we just take a morning show skew because we do stupid bits and pretend like this thing isn't important. Pretending. Who am I kidding?
Hopefully nobody listens to this show, honestly. Like, nobody should. Everybody's listened 5 days a week though, but hopefully nobody listens to this show.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Oh, AEW Dynasty will be in Philadelphia. Do the read, Joel, so that way we can clip this into a short.
Where is this?
AEW's Twitter.
Here it is. As announced by Philly Sport this morning, AEW Dynasty is coming to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Sunday, April 6th at the Liacouras Center. This marks the first AEW pay-per-view to be held in Philadelphia. Tickets go on sale Monday, February 3rd at aewtix.com.
The cat wants in here. It's just Stefan all over this.
The cat is all about AEW Dynasty.
Philadelphia. I mean, that's fine. Philadelphia is always a good wrestling town. Like, that'll work.
They're known for their big Philly arch, so I'm sure that will go over very well. Dynasty still using the logo when they went to St. Louis and had the arch as the actual placement. They got to change that logo.
Yeah, they got to change that up. I mean, maybe that's like just the Dynasty logo. Maybe it has nothing to do with St. Louis arch. Maybe that's their Dynasty logo.
You do one of two things. You get rid of the arch, or the A in Dynasty becomes the Liberty Bell. You're in Philly.
Okay, I like that.
Come on, marketing team. Pay me up. Pay up.
What if it's a cheesesteak instead?
The entire Dynasty logo is a cheesesteak.
Yeah, it's just a giant cheesesteak.
It's a bottle of Cheese Whiz. I love it. Yes, that's right.
I'm
fine.
No, not really surprised they kept the name. I don't think they were going to change the name just because they were doing Wrestle Dynasty. I think they're not going to rebrand the entire pay-per-view just because they did Wrestle Dynasty. They were more apt to probably not call Wrestle Dynasty than change Dynasty since they've already announced it, but they went with Wrestle Dynasty as well to tack on to New Japan and Wrestle Kingdom. So it makes sense of why they kept it. It's early April now because I guess it was early April last year. Maybe my memory is off, but WrestleMania is usually early April, but WrestleMania is more mid to late April this year. So Dynasty, I feel like they flipped, right? Dynasty was late April last year. You're missing
the connection, Jeremy Lambert.
What?
AEW taking shots at WWE. WrestleMania 40 last year, Philadelphia, was April 6th and 7th. What do? 1 year later to the day, tribalism at its best. They're going to sell out Dynasty at the Liacouras Center, and they're going to be like, we're better than WWE, and we're going to be better on April 6th than any other wrestling company ever.
How is selling out the Liacouras Center better than WrestleMania? They don't want that smoke, I don't think.
I don't know. I don't write the tribalism storylines in wrestling. I just look and laugh at them.
Well, the tribal combat storylines write themselves.
Wait, I'm really enjoying the idea of Ryan Sullivan walking around wearing a hat that says press on it. I also really like the idea of someone looking at a hat that says press on it and then pressing on his head.
Okay. All right. Would you do that, Joel? You're the type of person that you would see press on someone's hat and you just go up to it and like pray. You press the wrong person, though. It won't end well for you, especially in Philadelphia.
I am a respecter of boundaries because I keep my own boundaries as well.
Okay.
I don't like being around. I'm fine with being around people, but I don't go out of my way for people. It is what it is. I do like being around thumbs up though. Let's go ahead.
Being around people with their thumbs up.
If you're around and you got your thumbs up, put it on this video right now. Leave a thumbs up, toss a like on the video. We always appreciate that. As it lights up around you to toss that thumbs up, you can subscribe to the channel as well here at Fightful Overbooked. That's always nice. Go subscribe to us. Would you? Do it now. Subscribe. And also you can donate a super chat any amount, get your question or statement read on the air, or if you just want to control the narrative of our conversation, you can do that too. That's right. We're going all the way back. AEW Dynasty, control your narrative 2025. Joel at the elimination.
What?
With the press hat. Oh, this would be the second elimination chamber I will have covered if I show up to that one. And I should have a press hat on for this one.
Do not put out the CYN, please. Don't do that. Knock it off.
It's not, it doesn't exist anymore. Therefore, we're just taking it back. We're just using
Is their website still active?
Oh God, I hope not.
Let's see here.
The Love Wrestling crew is going to be there. See, the problem is, if I show up, what's Sean going to do?
Yeah. So if you Google "control your narrative," the first thing that pops up is the cage match page. The second thing that pops up is Reddit. And a few sentences. Can someone explain what the hell "control your narrative" is?
No.
All right, here's the website. The website is still. Click it. It's taking a little while. Oh no, it's there. It's there. There's a giant picture. All right, let's look through this as a. Hold on, we're gonna pull this up as a. All together here,
Remember their rules and regulation?
Oh hell yeah, we're gonna go through it.
Yeah.
Ruled. All right, hold on. Let me share my screen.
Scared of this.
Why? It's just control your narrative, brother. There we go.
True.
Okay. All right. Control your narrative.
When you do certain online presentations, you have the option to do breakout rooms. I feel like if we did control your narrative online, we could do breakout rooms like they did, where they charge $50 to have your screen.
Oh yeah, I remember that thing. Look at this just giant picture of EC3 that you're just greeted with. He's welcoming you to control your narrative. Just, come here, brother. Come control your narrative with me. That's how EC3 talks.
Well, what is this tattoo? That's not a cross because it's not what is that?
Kind of is a cross.
Yeah, but it's not a good one.
Is it a tattoo or is it an armband?
That's a tattoo. Good. That's not kinesio tape. That would be
okay.
I don't think that's his tattoo. That cat is equally upset about the idea.
Can you hear the cat? Hold on.
Yeah,
we gotta control the narrative. The cat's trying to break out of the room.
Yeah, I get it. Cat's oh, they're talking about wrestling again. Get me out of here. This sucks. I hate this.
All right, there we go. The cat had to escape. Sorry about that, everyone.
The cat's trying to control their narrative.
All right, so look, he's just very welcoming. He's come on in. Look at this. I guess it is a tattoo. He's got a Y on the other side. YT. Is that his?
More. Is that a P on the other? Is it PYT? Is he putting that on his arm?
Why is it P? What does PYT stand for?
Really? PYT?
Yeah, am I dumb?
Michael Jackson? Pretty young thing?
I don't think EC3 has a pretty young thing.
Well,
is that way? I legitimately did not know.
Yeah, PYT is pretty young thing. It's a Michael Jackson song. That's the thing. PYT.
Okay, all right.
That's the Dynamite theme song for the week.
You gonna sing it at the end?
Absolutely not.
Oh, coward.
Ooh, out of state talent.
Should we apply? The CYN cooperative is not for everyone. It will require extremely hard work and challenge you greatly. It'll push you out of your comfort zone. It'll be a tangible life experience, turning what you think you know into what you need to know.
Did you look at the Reddit option that popped up on your Google? Yeah. Did you see the top answer?
No. What did someone say?
It's ECW for MAGA people.
It's coming to Willoughby, Ohio. I feel like that's pretty close to me.
I didn't know they were still in business.
Well, now it's like a co-op. It seems like it's just like a training center now. See, like it's just. It has May 13th. Is this like new or is this year? Is this last year?
I think that's last year. It's got to be last year.
Well, there's no date on it, so what if I try to register?
2,500 for 12 weeks.
Register today.
All right, it's gonna take you to the copay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want my PayPal to pull up here. I don't actually like want to pay for this because I feel like I'm gonna actually get charged.
Did it open another window?
Yeah, it opened a PayPal window. Yeah,
okay, we can't see that anyway. We only see where you
okay, good. All right. Well, I'm not paying for this. Sorry.
I
was hoping it would, just see if I was seeing if it would just pull up of like, oh hey, this service is no longer available.
Go to the bottom. Go to their social links are at the bottom. See what's still active there.
Oh boy! All right, they're active on X.
Do you?
January 19th. I mean, that's pretty close.
That is a couple days ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about their Instagram?
It's just EC3's Twitter though. It's not even like Control Your Narrative though.
Seems
EC3's
bad.
Okay, Instagram. Okay, Instagram is actually like their thing.
Okay, and does it actually go to their, like, it hasn't been updated?
Nah, the last post that's not pinned was in November. So
the Control Your Narrative YouTube hasn't been updated in 2 years.
I feel like Facebook is probably where like it would go to. The Facebook is.
I feel like they're more on Rumble and Truth Social, but that's just my feeling.
All right. Well, the Facebook has not been updated since July. Yeah, and it's the same dates of August. So it does look like those were last year's dates. So I do believe if I tried to register, I would just be out $2,500
Wow.
because I don't know if they would refund me for that.
It seems bad.
What if I tried to just register and submitted my application? I don't want to like pay because again, I'm pretty sure I would not get my money back. I don't want to submit my full name. Should I give like a fake name? I got fake emails and everything.
I mean, you could. I don't know if you'll ever get anything.
All right. What's my actual name? Hopefully that didn't pop up my address there. That wouldn't be good. I don't need that. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Right there. Okay. What should be my name here? What's my full name?
Jeremy Borash.
No. I don't want to use that.
Jake.
Okay, Jake Peralta.
Jake Peralta. I see it.
Yeah. I finished it last night. I finished my rewatch. Really, my first watch through.
You finished your Brooklyn Nine-Nine story?
Yeah. I gotta find something else to watch now. What's my worker name? My worker name should just be Jake Peralta.
Max Cocker.
Oh hell yeah! Oh yeah, Max Cocker. Okay. I got a dummy email address that I will use.
maxcocker69@gmail.com.
No, I haven't registered. Oh, I don't want to give out a real cell number. That sounds bad. I'm going to put Joel's number in here.
It's much worse.
I'm going to put your number, Joel.
Use the local pizza spot.
I'm not going to do that to my local pizza spot. I'm going to put Joel's number.
Someone you don't like.
Okay, so I'm putting Joel's number.
Pick someone that's not me that you don't like. Yeah, get a Google Voice number for Christ's sake.
Nah, we're putting Joel's number in here. It's much funnier. Tell me let's see if they call you, Joel. Let's see if you get like
I don't want to be on a list.
Personalized phone call.
They're going to put me on a list. This is bad. I don't want to be on a list.
Experience level, none. Beginner. I'm going to put beginner.
Do not put my name on there.
Submit application. All right. The application has been submitted, everybody.
Did you actually use my phone number?
Well, you'll know if you get a message or
You
not.
suck. You suck. I hate you so much.
Oh, if they call you live on air, you're just gonna get like some random. Why is I guess it'd be an Ohio number. I don't know, but
It's a scam baiter arc.
You gotta answer that phone call on air.
Should have made your worker name Pierogi Pearl. Damn it.
Oh, Pierogi Pearl. That's good. That's good.
Oh,
we're Max Cocker. We're Time Cock, baby.
I'm gonna get the calls to get 88% off a pillow.
I'll let everybody know. I did use one of my fake email addresses, so I will let everybody know if I get an email. Actually, let's check it now. Let's see if they like sent me an immediate message like, "Thank you for submitting your application to control your narrative."
Yeah, the people in the chat are now saying this is too far. It's the worst thing you could have done to me. I'm gonna start getting calls from like Braun Strowman in the middle of the night. Hey,
cool.
Hey, do you know how I could beat Jacob Fatu? No, Braun Strowman, I don't. You're just gonna have to go at it alone.
You should learn how to beat Jacob Fatu. It feels like you're gonna need that later in life if you're gonna control your narrative and become the next great wrestling superstar.
Braun, listen to me. Listen carefully. This is what you do, okay? Step 1, remember, you are in control. Okay, step 2, you are in control. Step 3, remember the fights only end when you tap out, get knocked out, can't stand, or quit. Sanctioned quote-unquote matches can only end via pinfall. Jake doesn't know that. Call him Jake. He'll love that.
Jake Fatu. That's so oralless.
Call him Jakey Fats.
Jakey Fats. Terrible.
Standard quote-unquote professional wrestling rules apply for sanctioned quote-unquote matches. Chaos ensues in the project pit. And then when he asks what's the project pit, I'll be like, I don't know. This was your narrative, not mine. We're controlling your narrative. And then I'll tell him, Braun, remember number 5. This is very important. No hashtag super kicks. No hashtag tope suicidas. And no hashtag Canadian destroyers. Remember that, Braun, and you will beat Jakey Fats.
I mean, if he can't do super kicks, Jacob Fatu, you're limiting him a little bit. He loves the super kick.
He does. And remember, Braun, the fight isn't with your opponent. It's with yourself.
And it's kind of with the opponent, I don't.
Your narrative was actually a therapy pill to experiment.
I would like Braun Strowman on this show. I just got one question for him. Just one. I just want to know who was behind the friggin' choo-choo train sound. That's the only thing I want to know. He's done a bunch of interviews since then, and nobody has asked, what was this choo-choo train?
You know who it was.
I know who it was. I'm pretty sure I know who it was, but like
you just got to hear him say it.
I want the confirmation. I want to know what he thought of this. This was the most hilarious thing in the world. This choo-choo train. As he was running around the ring, and he just run people over. It rolled. I want to know the story behind that. That's it. I can't believe he's done all these interviews and nobody's asked him that. These people not have like good questions. Ask, oh, you made your return to WWE. Oh, working with the Wyatt Six. Do you want to do that? Do you want to get involved with that? Tell us about the Bronson Reed storyline. Who cares? Choo-choo trains. That's what we're here for. And then I just ask him a bunch of like train questions. Like, so are you like a Thomas guy, a little engine that could guy? Like, those are the kind of questions that I would ask. So, legend, who did the train sounds?
I'm so all about that.
That's all. We want Braun Strowman on this show, but we're only going to talk about choo-choo trains.
I swear to God, if they have Braun Strowman for some reason, if he gets the Elimination Chamber press day, I am going to ask all the questions you need, and we'll ask him. We'll ask him about the cinematic matches against Bray. That would be fun. How long did you have to stay underwater under the dock in that one match? Because it felt like forever.
Ask him why there was a lack of choo-choo trains in that match.
Have you ever thought about being a train conductor during your time off of wrestling? Have you thought about controlling your narrative as a conductor?
Well, Braun Strowman. Oh yeah, I'm sure we got a train conductor hat somewhere around here. I would do that.
I'm here with Braun Choo-Choo Strowman.
All right, this is it. This is what we're gonna get Braun Strowman on this show just to ask about choo-choo trains.
God bless 10 Rizzo with the super chat. Starting on delay, I've been to that town. It sucks. He's been to New Merca.
He's been to New Merca. Do they have good drugs at least?
I feel like they should have good drugs. Is it like a one-horse town or a two-horse town? I'm very, very curious. You don't have to donate a super chat to say it. I'm very, very curious about the town of New Merca that you've actually been to. Hilarious. If a train leaving Vegas at 4 p.m. is going 56 miles, oh, I don't know, man. That's too much questioning for me. Man, that was awful. I hope to never have to do that. But I will wear a train conductor's hat during that interview.
You got to. I hope that you interview at Elimination Chamber, and I hope he's there. I want someone ask him this. What's wrong with you people? I'm out here giving you like top tier questions, and they just get like, no one's paying attention to it. It's very sad. Giving people gold material here.
I'm hopeful that this time they do a better job with the media day, because like it was so. They had us go to the MLSE launch pad. You were around, like you heard.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me in.
You wanted to go see the Hockey Hall of Fame, but they had us go and sit and watch them, play with the kids, which were like great. They were doing like a community event, and it was nice to see. But then they did here we're donating $25,000 to MLSE Launchpad. Like, okay, that's nice. And then afterwards, like now we're going to do the press conference. We're doing press style, but it's going to be not one at a time. We're just going to scrum it. Like we're just going to like, you want to talk to this person, and it just became a free for all. And some people don't know how to work in those scenarios, or they've never worked in a grouping of people one question at a time. It became like, okay, I'm going to stand in front of the camera and I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to take up an extra 2 minutes and I'm going to waste everyone's time. And then Sportsnet, because at the time they had exclusivity, they were able to take every wrestler one by one into a separate room so that they could do a fully like professional televised interview. And we were all like, well, there goes interviewing this person, that person, or the other. It's like, I'm really hoping that it's better this time. Sportsnet, we won't have to contend with as much this time. I'm sure that they'll be cordial and they'll be there, but like they're not a television partner in Canada anymore. So we won't have to deal with, someone just taking them away for 20 minutes of our time. We'll see. I hope that they do a proper media day again and not the mixing it up with the community event. That just kind of killed the morning. But Braun Strowman should be there.
That's all that matters, is Braun Strowman being there and asking him about choo-choo trains.
I wish it was February. I would have been like, do you choose me?
Maybe ahead of the event's in February, right? Oh, I guess it's March technically.
Yeah, SmackDown's on the 28th, and then it's March 1st is the Elimination Chamber. So like maybe the Thursday, which is the 27th, maybe they'll do something.
All right, we'll try to ahead of Elimination Chamber. We're gonna reach out and see if we can't get Braun Strowman on the show.
Should probably talk to Sean about that.
Yeah.
About, what the plans are for me, if any.
Just hang out. Just go there, hang out.
If it's me, then Tim comes for any interview stuff.
Oh, right.
I don't know if I'm supposed to apply as Fightful Overbooked or if they consider that double dipping. I don't know if they care. Just more stuff.
They're probably just going to look at that and be like, what the hell is Fightful Overbooked? No, absolutely not.
Oh, that dork? He's fine. He's harmless. Let's bring him.
You're big in the TNA community. So like now they got the partnership. So they're like, oh, okay, sure. There's extra TNA coverage. Somebody's got to cover them.
when I laugh because there was a moment when we got to NXT and it was me. This was the same day that our pal Adrian Hernandez and we went to New Ho King, had a wonderful lunch, and then we went to the venue. This was NXT day, and when we got there, the PR guys, they don't care. They'll laugh at this if they ever saw it, and I doubt they will. They're in like casual wear. They're wearing like a nice shirt, like a button up and jeans. But like the whole rest of the time, Jeremy, they're in their suits. No, not necessarily with a tie, but like they're dressed, they're dressed for work. So we get there on NXT night and they're just checking in and we're just laughing. We're just like, casual Friday. Hey guys. And they're just like, we're out of clothes. This is not actually a reflection of how we feel about NXT. I'm just like, I get it. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm wearing shorts and a shirt. And I'm like, I don't care for this one either. There's no press event after. We're just there to watch the show and talk about it. It's cool. I'll show up in a suit for Elimination Chamber. How about that? Do it again.
Okay. All right.
Or at least like nice jeans and a jacket. I'll do a jacket this time.
What about a jean jacket?
I do have 2 of those.
Really? 2 of them?
I've got a black one and I've got a dark wash ripped one things that I wear on stage. Like I have 2 jackets and I have a vest, a jean, like the Moxley vest.
Regular jean jacket Jones over here.
That's right. Well, you know the one that Moxley used to wear, the jean jacket vest? I had that vest.
Yeah.
I had that vest before he got it. And I was able to like link it to Amazon the night that I saw him wear it. I'm like, that son of a bitch is wearing my jackets.
You saying John Moxley ripped you off?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Took everything from me.
You should fight him.
Yeah, I should. The winner gets everything. I get the kid. I get the house. I get everything.
You just get the soul of AEW. That's all that matters.
Sure,
the soul of AEW. Nothing else is important.
That's true. Well, I'll tell you what. On April 6th at AEW Dynasty, coming for you, John Moxley.
You gonna fight? You gonna show up to Philly? Where's the event? In Philly, you big dumb bitch.
I wish you were there to do this bit. Oh God. Just come to stand and deliver, Ricky. It's fine.
I miss Ricky. I hope Ricky's doing well.
Me too. I hope he keeps taking independent bookings and keeps making people understand that he is very good at this. What a guy.
Shout out to Ricky Starks.
Shout out to Ricky Starks. He's fantastic. Can't wait to talk to him next. What are we talking? Should we talk about Raj?
He's never gonna do an interview with me. Are you kidding me?
No, never. Why would he? Doesn't even know who you are.
I wish nobody knew who I was. I wish. I've ruined that. I cared too much of wanting to. Like I didn't even want to be important. I just got important. Sadly.
Work ethic will do that to you.
It's unfortunate.
It's okay. If it makes you feel any better, you could become an engagement grifter.
Oh man. Too many people like make that their whole personality, and it's annoying to me. Like good and bad. Like there's like, some super positive accounts but that's like all they are. It's like, oh, everything is so great. And like that's just as annoying to me as the super negative accounts. Like you guys know there's a balance here. I just don't believe everybody is positive about everything. If they are, like, more power to them. I wish I could live my life that way, but like I see how America is, and I can't just be positive about everything. I just can't.
That's fair. Grace came up with Air Lambert, and I immediately fall back with Jer Gold.
Gold. Oh, yeah. These people, I gotta start messaging other like big accounts and be like, hey, you want to like start engaging with each other so we can all get these Elon bucks together?
Yeah. Just put your hands out in the air. It's okay. Send your heart out to me, would you?
And it's easier to be positive to loser your shit for the bad things. I don't know if that's or then to lose your shit for the bad things.
Yeah, let's clean that up because I'm actually curious about this. It's easier to be positive to lose your shit for the bad things. Is that what it is? Because if you're positive, then bad things affect you more.
Oh, see, you're good, Henry. You're good. See, I guess I'm the opposite because this is my sports terribleness of like, I just assume that things are going to go wrong with sports. Like, yeah, my team's going to lose. Yeah, we're just going to lose this game. So like, I'm always like in a negative mindset when it comes to sports. So I guess I'm always in a negative mindset when it comes to wrestling, but I don't take wrestling serious though. That's the other thing is I think way too many people take it serious. And I just like, we do this show. I give my opinion on this show. Some people like it. Some people don't. Sometimes it's positive. Sometimes it's negative. And then I move on with my day and I do not think about like my opinion on these things any further. And I don't let it affect me watching the show at all. Like, I don't let any of this affect me. I got way too like bigger issues to worry about in my personal life. Not that like things are terrible in my personal life, but look, when you got 12 kids, shit happens, right? So I got way more things to worry about in my personal life than like, can't believe the fucking Death Riders really aren't killing people. God, this is going to ruin my entire day. Like, nah, I spout off stuff on this show and then I move on with my life. That's why, you know, when you bring up a lot of the Twitter drama to me, and I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff. This does not hit my radar at all because I do not care that much. I do not like incubate myself any more than I have to. I get my work done, I do this show, and then I move on with things. That's it.
This is go ahead.
I said, but other people take it way more serious. Like they're like offended that I'm upset about something or that I'm too positive about something. And it's like, all right, dude, like don't listen. I don't like, we appreciate everybody who listens, but like, please, if what we have to say, I will always say this, if what we have to say, like genuinely affects your enjoyment of what you're watching, please don't listen to us. We should not affect your enjoyment or your lack of enjoyment for what you are watching. Like you're either going to have fun watching this show and you're either going to be like, I don't really agree with what they're saying. Like, I actually like this. Cool. More power to you. You're going to be like, yeah, you know what? That's actually a good point that they made, which doesn't happen very often. And then you move on. That's it. If you're any deeper with this show than that, you got to find something better to do with your life.
In the comments, if you know where we live, please let us know so that we can plan accordingly.
If you know where we live, what?
There are some people, I'm sure, there are some people who are just plotting our demise in the background.
No, I don't think I'm going to get killed. We've talked about this before. Like, I'm going to die like a dumb death. So, like, I'm not going to... I don't think, like, some crazy wrestling fan is going to kill... I guess that is kind of a dumb death, honestly.
Quite frankly, one of the dumbest deaths imaginable right now.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I'm going to get murdered, though. Like, a murderer is kind of like a cool death. You know what I mean? Like...
I don't know. If you're at a wrestling show and someone pushes you down the stairs and you die, it's not really that cool.
Yeah, I guess.
You got pushed down the stairs and died like a bitch.
Well, but you got put, like, that's still kind of like a murder almost. Like, somebody's going to get charged for that, you know?
You don't know about that, but sure.
Nah, they're 100% going to get charged. Like, that's murder. That's manslaughter, is it not?
Well,
like, maybe they didn't mean to kill you, but they pushed you down a flight of steps. Like, you're going to jail over that.
Yes, assuming the guilty party is captured.
Well, there are probably going to be a lot of people around, so
it's possible. Who knows?
I don't think I'm going to die. I'm going to die like choking on a hot dog or something. Like, that's how I'm going to die. It's going to be very stupid.
You're going to be it all in Texas, just choking on a glizzy.
Yeah. Like, it's going to be real super dumb. Like, for that.
Yeah, like if we can't capture the person that, you know, tried to kill Darby Allin, how are we going to capture the person?
Well, it didn't kill him. It was just attempted.
Still attempted murder. That's still a punishable offense. Or why aren't we, you know, trying to arrest the guy who broke into someone else's house?
Charges
or the guy who burned down someone else's house, or the guy who, you know, tried to murder two other people at the same time. It's still a crime. Nobody's
getting taken. Charges weren't pressed, you know?
I guess. God damn.
I mean, charges are going to get pressed if that's how I die.
You'd think so.
Nah, somebody in my family's pressing charges.
That's fair.
100%.
That's true. One of the 12 kids will probably be like, that may have been too far. We've talked about it, but this guy did it.
Yeah. Somebody in my family's pressing charges if that's how I go.
Yeah, you'd need Detective Danhausen on the case.
That would rule.
Shout out to Detective Danhausen, by the way. He and his partner are expecting a baby. This was a little while ago, but we didn't get to say it on the air. So congratulations, Babyhausen. You're going to have great parents.
Remember when he appeared on ROH television and was never heard from again?
He was too busy getting ready for the baby.
Dude, they brought him back for that pop at Hammerstein, and then they were like, well, you have served your purpose for this show, and we'll see you next year, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Now that he's a father, he's going to be a father. You probably might not see him for a long time. He's just gonna chill. It's cool. Meanwhile, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna bring back the daddy. Everyone's excited to see the daddy." Like, okay, sure. Angelo Parker is coming back to TV. Everyone's gonna be excited for that night. Like, cool. And then do you think they get squashed in that match? We'll talk about that in the Dynamite preview. But here
It's
we
not
are.
Dynamite. It's on Collision. So
So we'll talk about it on Friday or Monday.
It's a
We
collision.
showed proof of life. Are you happy, Marks?
It did rule that they just brought him back for like that one spot, and then he's not been used again. It did feel like such just fan service of here's Danhausen. All right, give us the pop. Anyway, back to wherever you're going, Danhausen.
By the way, I keep seeing the Guantanamo Bay meme.
It's honestly a good meme.
It's a really good meme.
I gotta
it's
respect
a really
it.
good thumbnail.
Yeah.
It's very funny and very stupid.
Yeah, it's good. I don't care not for that like opinion, but
No.
I respect good efforts like that. So got no choice but to respect it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't care about the gimmick. I just want to see.
Yeah, Paul Catraz is good too. That one's also good. Have you seen the Paul Catraz?
No, this is great.
Yeah. Paul Catraz is good. People are really smart with this stuff.
I don't think smart is the word I would use.
Well, I mean, they're smart in their own way.
And people are a lot of things.
Yeah, that's good though. I got no choice but to respect that stuff. It's funny. It's dumb.
It is dumb. That's what makes it the best.
Yeah.
Y'all have no connection to these people. That's the best part. That's why it's so wild.
Yeah, it's funny. It's silly stuff. That's what it should be.
Yeah. Phoenix getting waterboarded.
Dude, he posted a picture of himself in like the straight jacket. What?
Because they're all a bunch of actors. They're all a bunch of high school actors. It's great.
Hilarious. And he just did that. And then he deleted it, of course, because everybody deletes this stuff. He posted a picture of himself. That was always hilarious when the WWE people would get released. And because Moxley did like breaking out of prison, so like everyone did breaking out of prison. It's like you guys were just like in catering at worst, like eating good food. All right, like can we not compare this to prison, like actual prison? Come on now. What are we doing?
We were starved. We were starving to death. Well, I mean, listen, the worst that they were is away from their families in some cases. Like, and you were away for a week and you just did nothing. It's just so ridiculous. Oh God. Yeah, we need more breaking out of prison videos.
I feel like that's gonna be the trend now with these AEW releases. You
know what should happen? Forget it. You know what? They should announce new signees. New signees should make videos of them entering the prisons.
Well, that's what GCW did, right?
That's true. And then they were trying to get out by having a really good. How does that work? Was the People versus GCW supposed to be? We're gonna put on a show so good you'll have no excuse but to release us from the prison of being in a GCW match. Like, what is this? What was the overarching angle here of this promo?
A real lack of court follow up on that show. They just did wrestling matches. That sucked. Why didn't they do like mock trials? That's what they did in the video. I needed the verdict.
Every match should have been a trial. In the end of it, they should have had a judge being like, guilty, that match sucked.
That would have actually been hilarious. That would have been hilarious if they did that. And then they just like, you're sentenced to 5 more years in GCW.
Sabu, I sentence you to a match against Joey Janela at Spring Break in Las Vegas.
That would have been way better than what they did. We now sentence you to Ring of Honor. That is where you have to go.
No! Play Christian just freaking out. Yeah, JBL should be a judge. Shows up everywhere else.
That would have been so much better. They should have wrestling matches. Like, who could possibly care about these wrestling matches? Imagine if they had a judge there judging things. That's what judges do, allegedly. That would have been way better. We should have booked this show. Would have been so much cooler. Would have ended before 12 o'clock. I got to tell you that much.
Probably would have ended before 10 at the rate.
I would have wrapped the matches up quickly. I would have been banging that gavel. All right, get it done with. I'm holding this whole match. Jeez, I'm about to throw my headphones. Holding this whole match in contempt. It's all in contempt. I don't really know what that means, but like it sounds cool. This whole match is in. You're out of order with this match. Throwing it out. Get out of here.
MLJ, Brett Lauderdale. 2 minutes of your time. Jeremy Lambert and I would like to officially put our names in the hat for a new type of GCW event. We will call it GCW Fast, in which Jeremy and I will curate a series of matches with some GCW and independent talent, where each match has to finish within, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. If the talent go over 3 minutes and 5 seconds, everybody loses. The show is over. But if they keep it under, well, then you got yourself a great tight show. We're waiting.
You know what they did? It was like the final shows on IWTV, the GCW shows. I forget what they called those shows.
The settlement shows.
The settlement series. Yeah, the settlement series. And they were playing like rock, paper, scissors. And then like these were the matches. It ruled so much because like they didn't care about these IWTV shows. Like, we only like these are obligated shows we have to do on IWTV. So like completely just half-assed it. It was so funny. They should just do that again. Just for the fuck of it. It would rule. I don't know if Triller would allow them, but like put them on YouTube, whatever. It was so campy wrestling, but it ruled. It was the best. They should do that. That's the shit I want to book.
GCW Fast coming to a YouTube channel near you. Think we can sell Cole Radrick on that one?
Cole's supposed to be on Spotlight tomorrow. He's gonna join us live to talk about his big. Bad. I'll pitch this to him. Like, can we get Brett's number to pitch this? I don't know if Brett likes me. I don't know if anybody likes me. I just assume everybody dislikes me. It's a lot easier to go through life that way for me.
He's not on our show.
Well, we haven't really asked them, Like, it's not like we've like really asked them to be on our show. But like, I try to defend the GOAT, Andrew Thompson, because like Brett was mad about a quote. And he's like, clickbait, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I can promise you Andrew Thompson's not doing this for clickbait. Like, he just thought it was a story and he ran the story. Like, these are your words. You said it. And so, like, I was defending Andrew. And Brett was just like, was this your article, Jeremy? I was like, no, it was not my article. And that was the end of our conversation. So, I don't know. I just assume all these people dislike me.
Forget him. Tenruza, by the way, updating us on New Merca. The town is good for drugs, and it's just a flat nothing town. Had a cousin live there. Thankfully, they moved, so we didn't need to go there anymore.
There you go. He said it was good for drugs, though. That's the big takeaway here.
That is the takeaway. It's just like Hamilton. No one goes there.
Hamilton the musical? I feel like that did well, didn't it?
It did well. The city outside of Toronto did not. It's awful. Don't go.
Oh, I didn't know it was a city. I never watched Hamilton the musical.
Don't you remember when AEW was coming this way and people were like, "You're gonna go to the AEW Hamilton show?" I was like, "Absolutely."
Oh yeah, you were like burying that show.
Still do, and still will. That show was awful. That was also the Jericho and Guevara versus Darby and Sting tag match.
Oh come on now, you can't.
That match was fine. The rest of the show was awful.
You can't bury a Sting match, brother.
That was the one where he did the ladder spot off the table.
Oh yeah, that ruled.
Yeah, that ruled. The setup for it was after Forbidden Door, when Jericho came in and popped the water bottle into a journalist's face.
Yeah.
Are you okay? You gonna drink that water?
Let me bury AEW for a second.
Wow, it's only Wednesday.
Nobody clipped that. No. I'm not burying AEW. There's just one thing I noticed. So they're doing media this week. and they're in Knoxville tonight. And like they're having Jeff Jarrett and Rock and Roll Express do media for this show.
Yep, AEW champions, the Rock and Roll Express.
I'm just like, man, Rock and Roll, like Ricky does a good job. I gotta give a shout out to Ricky Morton. Like Ricky Morton like cares and clearly like wants to do this stuff. Like he's putting over Omega, he's putting over the angles and everything. I don't know if Robert Gibson knows what's going on, honestly. Like bless that man, but I'm not sure he knows what's actually happening. Ricky Morton's doing a good job. And like Jarrett's a good promoter. Like Jarrett gets out there and promotes this stuff. But you gotta put other people out there. But I guess they're in Tennessee. They're well known in Tennessee, so I get it to some extent. I would just use more current talent. At least they put like last week Moxley was out there because they were in Ohio. So like that made sense. They were in Cincy, so Moxley got out there. But I said like Moxley's only gonna give you what you give him. And if your energy is not great, he's not going to give you a ton of energy. And even if like your energy is good, he might not give you a lot. It's just, I don't know how much he like cares to do that stuff at this point. They got to put some other people. They got to put some other people out there on these. Like looking at the card, like Will Ospreay was always so great with media. I don't know why Will's not doing any more media. And maybe
Will's on the show too.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if he's not asking to do it, if they're not asking him. He was fantastic. Like, I would put him out there every chance that I get, honestly. Like, Cope, like, everyone knows my opinions on Cope. I feel like I always preface everything with Cope of like, everyone knows how I feel about Cope. He's good with media, though. And he's a well-known name. Like, he's really good at hyping this stuff. I'd put him out there more. I'd put Ospreay out there more. Swerve's on this show. I know he's a late addition. Maybe he does some stuff today, some local media hits today. But so far, it's just been Rock and Roll Express, who are doing a meet and greet on the show, before the show. And Jarrett, who's not advertised for the show just yet. I expect he'll be on the show, but he's not advertised as of now. Oh, yeah. I would probably put out there, I would put like, you know, your current crop of people out there and get them some more face time with the local media, because the only way to become good at this stuff is to like do more. That's what I respect about a lot of people in WWE. Drew McIntyre is the quickest name that comes to mind. Is Drew during the pandemic. He's like, let me do every interview possible. And he said it himself. He's like, I really started to like find myself and hone in and like realize what I could say and what I can't say and what I could get away with and maybe where I shouldn't talk about certain things. Like, he credited the media for that. That's a question I like to ask people. Like when I interviewed Ilya Dragunov, I asked him, like, is this something like you wanted to do, or is this something they kind of tell you to do? He's like, yeah, it's something they asked me to do as the NXT champion at the time, but I like doing it because it helps me with promos and everything. It's like, yeah, good. Like I think more people should do that kind of stuff, because I do think it helps in the long run. But having guys who are not with your company for the long run and are not featured weekly, who literally like Rock and Roll Express aren't signed to AEW. I mean, maybe they are in some type of deal. I don't know, but they're not like weekly television performers or anything. Jeff Jarrett is, so okay, fine. I can excuse it a little bit, but I would have guys like Anthony Bowens and Cope and Ospreay and these guys out there doing these media hits. And I'd put Nick Wayne out there. I know Nick Wayne's going to lose to Samoa Joe tonight, but like I'd have Nick Wayne like go out there and get comfortable in this setting, because I think that pays off in the long run.
Him and his mom doing media would be hilarious. I think that would be very funny in the best way possible. Henry is pointing out that travel is also a big issue for a lot of AEW talent coming in this time, because there has been some weather and some issues kind of getting to places. Will Ospreay had some travel issues, so you can join them, on your phone or whatever. But like if you're in transit, you might not be easily available, and also sometimes your web or your Wi-Fi just kind of sucks. But I do largely agree with you. I do
Jerry.
I'm saying I hope that more young talent are making themselves available to do this type of media. But my only pushback with this particular the Will Ospreay comment was that like he specifically has been on a travel delay, so if he wanted to, he couldn't.
Jarrett was calling in on a cell phone for one of these interviews I was listening to. Like, you could tell that was a cell phone connection out there. So I don't want none of these excuses of travel. Call in on the cell phone while you're at the airport.
It depends. Yes, it depends on the interview. Some people can call in and just do a phoner. Some people have to be in a studio. I think their whole feeling is they would love to have more people live and in person because it is a show me business, not a not a phoner business.
Fair. I just wish they would get, and maybe today they'll hit more local, like they'll have more younger or featured weekly talent doing some local media hits. But I was
Henry mentioning Knoxville sucks to fly into. The drive from Nashville is long. Well, I learned that drive is 3 hours because of a couple of twins who had a problem with that.
Oh yeah, that was a thing, wasn't
it? You bet.
Is that still a thing?
Who cares? I think it is. I think it's now been shifted a few times. Shout out to Brandon Thurston and the WrestleNomics crew. They keep up with a lot of those particular situations.
Yeah.
Someone asking why I give you a Teemu ad. I don't get to set the ads on this damn platform. I just know they exist. Yes, they did line up with Kevin Kelly in the lawsuits.
Yeah, that's why we're saying, is that still a thing? Even I think Kevin Kelly's like starting a podcast.
He's started a podcast, friend, and
he has one.
He's doing exactly the stuff you'd expect.
Yeah,
is Tony Khan a giant dork? No more than you, Kevin. No more than you.
I'm not covering that. Sorry.
Don't bother.
I just don't. I don't care what Kevin Kelly has to say. Again, if Kevin Kelly wants to tell stories about like his time in WWE, cool. Like I think that's fine. But
he'll get there. He just has to go.
I don't know if he will. Like all these people they just do these podcasts to not tell stories. They just want to give their opinion on the state of the wrestling business. I come across a lot of podcasts that people may or may not know exist. You know a podcast that exists that I'm very sad that I know exists?
What's that?
The Coach and Bro Show.
Oh, I do know about that one because it's behind a paywall that I will never ever pay for.
I got access to it, but
that's a big no thanks if you're offering.
No, I'm not offering. I have access because like I found like they have a free version. I don't know, like I know, like Gray's, you're right. You're 100% right. Gray's saying there's no money in stories, much more stories about how everything, like that's true. And that's what I hate. Like, that's what I hate about this is that there isn't a whole lot of money in, hey, let me tell you cool stories from my time on the road, or let me tell you cool behind the scenes stories. There's not a lot of money in that. And like, they only get you so far. If there is, like, you can only tell that story so many times, especially if you're trying to do a weekly podcast. So everything just turns into, let's review the show. And I don't have a lot of interest in that. I think I said this. I don't remember where I said this. Maybe I was just talking to SP3 off stream. And he just did an interview with Ariel Helwani. And he's talking about like how he can fix AEW and how they can consolidate things. I was like, man, I don't care, Josh Barnett. No offense. But like, he was at AEW for one show in 2023. So him talking about, oh, here's how I would consolidate things. Like, dude, you're a former UFC champion. You're still active. You just wrestled Tom Pestock. Like, talk about that stuff. Not like they got too many titles. Like, yeah, dude, I can say they got too many titles. This isn't like some hot take that is conducive to just you. Like, cool. They got too many titles. They should make the pre-shows mean more. Anybody can have that opinion. Literally, we have that opinion. It's not like this cool exclusive opinion that you think you're sharing. It's like, oh, look what I've done. I've solved AEW. It's like,
I texted my friend who once worked for AEW for a day, and he told me they got too many titles. He was telling me how much he hates the company because they got too many titles down there. So, they got to start working on that. And also, they got no stories. You never noticed they got no stories in AEW. That's basically what a lot of these grifter podcasts come out to.
Maven actually does like good videos. They just did one of like how to like take a DDT and everything. Like those are cool things. Like that's like cool stuff that I want to know more about. I don't care about what's your opinion on. Like
Yeah.
Why should I care about Maven's opinion on like AEW? He's never worked there. And I'm not saying Maven like does this. Like he doesn't like give his opinion. So it's fine. But why should I care about Maven's opinion on AEW when he's never worked there?
Yeah. And like the Maven stuff, I like a lot of Maven's content too, but I also you can watch them maybe one or two at a time before you're like, I can't keep listening to him. Like there's just a way of his delivery, or maybe it's just the way that it's cut. You want to know the one thing that I wonder all the time when it comes to Maven's content? Where does he live? Not physically, not like what's his living situation? Because it screams apartment, but like I don't know what we're looking. Is this a 1-bedroom? Is this a bachelor pad? Like what are we doing here? He's got a very interesting situation going on. That's all I could think of when I'm watching Maven be like, back when I was in WWE, they gave me a limo when we did our promo segments. When we would go to WWF New York and we would get free food for us and all our friends. I'm like, God, that was 25 years ago.
And Boris saying, don't forget about the weird backstage vibes. That was from Action Bronson. Like at least Action Bronson is talking about his experience, but it's like, yeah, dude, that was like a month after All Out. Not even. Like I'm sure the vibes were weird backstage after everything happened there. So
yeah, man, context matters in this case.
Yeah,
but everyone just wants to run with the headline and just let it go. Even I was just like, oh, okay, like that's interesting. I didn't think about it at the time. I saw the weird vibes and I was just like, what? Later on, I thought about like, what time of year was that? Oh, right. Okay, I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah,
but
you know,
people just.
But again, at least he was talking about like his experience. Like at least like I can't be as mad about that. Can't be as mad about that. But you know,
and like we talked about Bischoff, the beginnings of 83 weeks were pretty good. This, back when. This is not me shitting on Conrad. This is like back when Conrad and Eric had a vision for the show being about those 83 weeks or those events that structured around around WCW, what worked and what failed, and like Eric trying to explain things that maybe we didn't know or just explain his way out of a paper bag, whatever it was. That stuff was interesting to me. Same thing with Something to Wrestle before Bruce went back to WWE, and the format completely changed, and he went back to WWE. The stuff that no one was necessarily looking for salacious. They were looking for stories. They were looking for behind the scenes, creative details, to watch him put his foot in his mouth when he mentions Miga and all this other stupid shit that Bruce would do. That was entertaining to me. Now I don't care, just like Jeremy's saying, I don't care either about like AEW bad and here's why. It's like, oh, you're not working there and you're not there. You're not doing it.
Bruce is actually like Bruce doesn't he doesn't do the podcast so much now like JBL.
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm not talking about Bruce specifically or Eric specifically. I know Eric does his shtick, but I'm just talking like a lot of those guys who did them and their contemporaries. A lot of them have started on the hate grift bullshit.
Yeah. Now Bruce's podcast, like he doesn't give you too much, honestly. Like he doesn't have a whole lot to say, but he sticks to the current, or not the current, like he really doesn't say anything current. He sticks to whatever the topic is. And typically it's something in the past. And Bruce has stories to tell. And Bruce gives the insight that he's going to give you. I think JBL does a good job of that right now. I think, Jim Ross is at least active in AEW. Tony Schiavone's at least active in AEW. So when they talk about it, it's like, okay, well, they're in the company. So cool. I care what they say. I don't really care about their opinion on WWE. If they give that, like Jim will, Jim gets asked about some WWE stuff every now and again. And when he says it, I'm like, sure. Jim Ross's thoughts on the Netflix debut. All right. He's not there. I'm sure he still talks to some people, but I don't know how much. I don't care that much about what Jim Ross has to say about the Netflix debut. You don't talk about Jim Ross when WWE Raw went to TNN. He was there. Awesome. Like that's the stuff that I want to hear about. Same with Schiavone. I don't care what Tony Schiavone has to say about current state WWE. I care if he has current stuff with AEW, cool. But otherwise, I want to hear these old WCW stories and whatnot. And I think they do a good job with that stuff. I think Conrad does a good job of leading that with them. The Bischoff stuff is they found the market with the everything in AEW is bad, and so they lean into that. But dude, a Baron Corbin podcast would fucking rule.
It would just be about grilling and football and striking it big in Vegas.
Yeah, it would rule. Like Baron Corbin's a really good talker. He was always good. Speaking of people who are good at media, like he was really good doing media interviews. I don't think he'd have like too much terrible stuff to say, but I would truly want to know his opinion on. Hey, remember when they blamed you for the ratings sucking, and like, what were really your thoughts on that? Remember that dog food stuff?
I was gonna say, what does dog food really taste like?
Yeah. Like, I really want to. I think a Baron Corbin podcast would absolutely rule, because I think he's good at media. I think he has plenty of stories to tell. He was there for a while. He was involved in a lot of stuff too. So I think Corbin podcast would be great.
He also he didn't fly too high on the radar. Like, yes, he was a talent who had a featured role on WWE programming, but he was never the guy. He was like a baddie of the month for a lot of guys. He existed on a plane of his own, and because of that, like, he had longevity, and he didn't get fired. He didn't have his contract renewed. Like, he left in a way that I don't think that it's sour grapes. I think he saw it was his time to go, and he moves on, and he doesn't have to worry about money. Never has. He did it, because he enjoyed it. And he had a really interesting career, or he's had a really interesting career so far. I would personally love to talk to him about that stuff. You mentioned those two other topics, but like, he has such a wealth of knowledge from his time in WWE, just being backstage, just seeing and hearing and experiencing stuff. There's probably some stories in there that people would not expect from a guy like the former Baron Corbin. Tom Pestock.
That name always throws me off. Tom Pestock.
Pestock.
Like, who
Pestock,
is that?
Pestock, who knows? And he just trademarked another one.
Yeah, I keep wanting to call it Bob Dwyer, but I know that's not right.
Barb Dwyer.
It's Bishop Dyer, and I keep thinking it's Bob Dwyer. Like, who is Bob Dwyer? This is somebody. I'm not just pulling this name out of thin air.
Got to be a hockey player.
Bob Dwyer this is Bud Dwyer.
Oh, you don't want it to be him.
Yeah. I just keep thinking, like, Bob Dwyer's got to be like some fake character of some television show that I watched. I don't know.
About Bob Dyer? He's a vaudeville entertainer.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. Robert Neil Dyer.
I don't know why I keep coming out with Bob Dwyer, but
he was born in Hartsville, Tennessee, died in Australia.
Okay, Robert Dwyer is an actor.
Okay.
He was in Boardwalk Empire, Perfect Stranger, 2 Weeks Notice. That was a great movie. It wasn't in too much, and it didn't seem like he had big roles. He just played a driver and everything. Right? That literally everything is just driver. What is happening? Oh, he's just in the transportation department. That was like his thing.
Oh,
I don't know why that name just like keeps coming up for me. Like,
I think you're thinking of Barb Dwyer, which was what our pal Share Delaware was on Twitter for the longest time.
No, I don't. I mean, maybe. I feel like his name just like pops up in something that I watch, like Bob Dwyer. I don't know what it is.
Oh, by the way, allegedly, we don't know how. Well, we know how it ended, but we don't know for sure. Okay, allegedly. Bishop Dyers. People were like, "That's the most NXT sounding name I've ever heard."
Yeah, it's a weird name, but
he's going back, baby. If that's a TNA name, I'm gonna laugh so hard because he can't be Tom Pestock because he got Tom Hannafin.
Oh, can't have two Toms.
Can't have two Toms.
I don't know about that. No,
stop it. What are you gonna do? Stop it with your history. I don't like your history here. It's getting in the way of my comments.
I don't know if that's it's an NXT name. Bishop Dyer.
It's his AEW name. People are going to be very. It's going to be very funny when it's his AEW name. You'll all look foolish then.
Maybe he has like a coffee shop or something.
I think that isn't that Rollins and Claudio. They've got coffee shops.
No, I think he has one too.
Good for him.
People
yes,
love.
We did talk about the Dynasty announcement, by the way. That was the opening.
People in wrestling like love coffee, I guess, because they need it like to just go. And Tony Khan drinks 15 cups a day.
Alexa Bliss was Miss Coffee for the longest time.
So Baron Corbin, I'll put over his coffee stuff. I don't know if it let's see when the last post was. It was a week ago, so it's a thing still. It's open air coffee. That's Baron Corbin's thing. So yeah, if anybody wants to check out Baron Corbin's coffee, it's open air coffee, and you can get the various roast that he has. So there you go, everyone.
Who else was there? There was RJ City has coffee. Danhausen has his own coffee.
Prince Nana,
obviously, famously has his coffee. A lot of coffee people.
We're going to start reviewing wrestling coffee on this show.
You'll be doing it yourself because I don't drink coffee.
Oh, I drink coffee every day, so.
I know. You'll be all up on that. People saying I'll stick to Prince Nana. Good. Enjoy his coffee. I hope it's good.
Baron Corbin looks like it. I mean, I guess it's okay coffee. I don't know. Remember we had Mike Santana on? He's got like 15 different like coffee mugs.
Yeah, that's right. Mugs. And the guys from Sinner and Saint, same thing. They had a ton of mugs.
Yeah.
Damn, coffee and wrestling.
We should just get Baron Corbin on the show to talk about coffee. So we get Braun Strowman to talk about trains, Baron Corbin to talk about coffee.
Any other ones we got going on?
No wrestling. None whatsoever. Who could possibly care about wrestling?
Cappuccino Jones?
Oh, Cappuccino Jones is that's a wrestler, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He's NXT. Yeah, WWE. Yeah, sorry. WWE,
yeah.
NXT, yeah.
They did a whole thing with Cappuccino Jones versus Vinny Pacifico. It was the battle of the energies. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have Vinny on soon. He's messaged me. We're gonna have Vinny on pretty soon.
He doesn't message me anymore.
He's been doing a lot of work.
Yes, he has. Dude is very busy. Love him. Love him for that. We don't even have to talk about wrestling with Vinny. That's the best part. Vinny just shows up and he's either got something to announce or he just got some stuff going on and we can just BS with him because it's Vinny. Love that man.
I would love to have Swerve on just talk about rap music. Are you kidding me? That would be great. I'm all for that.
But you don't want to have Chris Jericho on to talk about heavy rock and roll music?
I'd have Chris Jericho on this show. I don't know anything about rock music, so that would be your territory. I'd ask him.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'd ask him, has he heard of Creep by Smashing Pumpkins?
He'll tell you a 15-minute story about Billy.
What do you think his response to that would be? Do you think he would call me an idiot?
He'd probably call you an idiot and then tell you a 15-minute story about meeting Billy. Easily. The Jericho and other people have said, so I'm not talking out of school here, but I'm pretty sure Callis and Storm both said Jericho is awful at interviewing wrestlers, but he is fantastic at interviewing like musicians and artists and things like that. Because Jericho just doesn't care about wrestling the same way that he cares about music. Music is a passion. Wrestling is his job. So like he's been doing it for, almost 30 years. So for Jericho, it's just like, all right, I'm talking about work stuff. Whereas when he gets a big name rock and roll guy, or he's bullshitting with his friends about like who's got the best Police album, like he gets really into that stuff. And I've always appreciated that part about Jericho's, about his podcast, is when he cares about stuff that much.
So I only listen to like the wrestling interviews with Jericho because that's work for me. I always think Jericho is a good interviewer because he asks good questions, and obviously people are very like, they know Jericho, they respect Jericho, they have a rapport with Jericho, and so they're comfortable talking to him because he's one of the top names in history. So they're very comfortable, and I think Jericho is he's a good interviewer. I think he asks good questions, he asks good follow-ups, and I think he kind of what you said of he looks at like the wrestling stuff as here's what people kind of expect me to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it, and if it goes into a different direction, okay, fine, but like I got to ask like your wrestling centric questions Where with the rock and roll people or any other people he has on, he has a bunch of different people on. He could just kind of go all over the place and he just feels more comfortable with it. Because I think most people who listen to, I don't have his download numbers or anything, but I imagine his wrestling podcasts do the bigger numbers because people are like, oh, Chris Jericho wrestler talking to wrestlers. All right, I'm going to listen to this. So he feels like obligated to just talk about certain things or ask certain things. Like he always asks like at the ending question of like, oh, what's the one match like you're most proud of type of thing. And he asked like there's nothing wrong with this, by the way, because not everyone listens to all these interviews like me. So when he asked like, what's like a dream match that you want to face, or you're in AEW now, who are some of the guys you want to face? Like, hey, you're going to ask that stuff because even though they get asked that by everyone else they do an interview with, this might be the only interview people listen to with these people. So here's the behind the scenes story. We have Kevin Blackwood on Spotlight tomorrow, and Kevin Blackwood was really fun. We did about an hour with him, and he doesn't do a ton of interviews, and we didn't want it to be the usual like, hey, let's talk about this stuff that maybe you have already talked about in the interviews. We try not to do that with any of our interviews, but I also recognize that I shouldn't say not nobody, but like not everyone is listening to like every single Kevin Blackwood interview out there. So maybe they don't know the story of how he got into wrestling. Maybe they don't know the story of him wrestling Kenta and things. Even though it is something he's talked about in other interviews, this might be your first time listening to a Kevin Blackwood interview, because I recognize our platform is bigger than a lot of other platforms that are going to have Kevin Blackwood on their podcast. Like most podcasts, one, he doesn't do a ton. Two, if Kevin Blackwood's doing the podcast, like it's probably going to be something that just doesn't get a ton of traction because Kevin Blackwood is not one of the top names in AEW or WWE. It's the top name on the independent scene, but the independent scene's only in one small little bubble. So we do ask the stuff like, hey, how'd you get started? What was kind of like your first training experience? Hey, who are some of your dream matches? That way you get to know that person a little bit more, but then we veer off into other stuff. Spoiler alerts or teaser, I guess. Like we talk about like 90s cartoons with Kevin Blackwood, which was really fun. We talk about, he tells a really great story. I would tune into this interview just for this story. Hopefully this gives people enough incentive. He tells a story. So Kevin Blackwood owns a tattoo shop, or he does like tattoos and everything. He tells a story about going to Sean Waltman's house and doing a tattoo like at Sean Waltman's house. A big tattoo as well. Like a very important tattoo. I don't know about like how size-wise, how big, like a very important and meaningful tattoo to Sean Waltman. And just like going to the house and watching what was the name? One Jeopardy. They were just watching Jeopardy while he's doing this tattoo. And it was the other show like with the meme of the hot dog. Like we're all looking for the guy who did this here. Right. That show. I can't think of the name of the show. Yeah. I think you should leave, something like that. I think it's the name of the show. People in the chat will let me know. But like they're just watching that show as he's doing this tattoo. It was a really great story that he told about doing this tattoo for Sean Waltman. Like I think that's the fun of these interviews, to where it's not like, hey, let's just talk about professional wrestling the entire time. That's why we want to have Braun Strowman to be on the show to talk about trains, and Baron Corbin to be on the show to talk about coffee.
I think you should leave. And like we talked about this on Monday's show as well, that like part of the fun of doing our interviews is that we ask those disarming questions, because it just makes it more fun and you get to know the person a lot better. So I'm all about it. I'm looking forward to the Kevin Blackwood interview. Probably check that out.
Well, you could watch it now if you want.
I usually do for a lot of them, and I'll just 2x it. My favorite is if you do it on StreamYard and you put it at 2x, it goes from saying it's like a 15-minute interview to saying it's a 7.5-minute interview, because StreamYard automatically set it to 2x. And I'm like, oh, sometimes it's like, what happened in 7.5 minutes that they got cut off? And I was like, oh, it's because I put it to that. Makes sense. So your interview is going to clock in at a cool 30 minutes for me.
Yeah, it's a good hour with Kevin Blackwood. Really fun, really good interview. He put it over already on social media, so hopefully he truly enjoyed it. And
looking forward to that.
I'm just bullshitting.
Tenriza says he misses Taz's podcast. We've talked about Taz's podcast. It was good. It was just long. That was Taz's thing.
Austin always had, and Tenner's also said Austin needs to come back into podcasts as well. His podcast was always really good because, again, when these wrestlers do it, it goes one of two ways a lot of times. It's either like not that good because the wrestler isn't a good interviewer. And those are the ones that typically like flame out pretty quickly. Or they are really good because there's a comfortability with the wrestler. And if the wrestler is a good interviewer on top of that, it makes it even better. Because like if you have Stone Cold Steve Austin, again, legendary name in the business. So if a wrestler is talking to them, one, they're probably like excited to just talk to Steve Austin. So there's like a level of respect and comfortability of like, yeah, I'm talking to Steve Austin. Like this is one of the biggest names in wrestling history. Like this is cool. And so like Austin can feel comfortable asking questions because like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then so that makes for a really good interview, especially if Austin was a guy who typically like did his research and would ask questions you would want him to ask. And I know sometimes he didn't always, but that's every interviewer ever, honestly. Like not everyone is going to ask certain questions that you would want to ask.
The best and worst episode was when Billy Gunn came to the Broken Skull Ranch, brought his kids with him. That's all that mattered. Billy brought his kids. The other parts of the interview, who cares? Because unless I can get more intel on 99 Billy Gunn, I don't really give a shit about Billy Gunn.
Yeah, you're a Billy Gunn hater. You were a big time hater on Monday.
He sucks. He doesn't need to be in this. Doesn't need to be on TV in 2025 or 2024 or 2023 or 2022.
Well, those years are past, and he was on television and he ruled. And I hope he continues to be on television because he rules.
I rewatched the segment from Saturday, and the most annoying thing is watching Billy come out. And he's got to be serious Billy, right? But because he's so happy that the crowd loves him, he just lets out this big ass stupid smile as he's walking down the ramp. Because he's like, they like me. They like me. Good, because the Rock's not there to disembowel you.
Quit living in the past with that Rock promo, man. Billy Gunn's gotten so over since then.
You're the one who brought it up.
Yeah, because it ruled, but Billy Gunn also rules in 2025.
No, he does not.
Dude, they should put the world title on him. Who's the world champion now? Moxley?
Allegedly. You've never seen the title, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they should put the world title on
Billy. If that is the big pivot storyline, that they put the title on Billy,
that would rule.
Kill someone.
That would fucking rule. Are you kidding me? Run back Billy Gunn and Edge. They wrestled in 1999, right? They had to have. That was like King of the Ring final, wasn't it? Am I being dumb?
That's 2001 was Edge winning the King of the Ring.
All right, they definitely wrestled.
I'm sure they did. They definitely, because they were part of tag teams.
I feel like they had to have like some.
But I'm sure I'm sure they've done a one-on-one for sure.
I feel like they had a big match at some point, right? Maybe they had tag team matches. I don't know if they had.
Edge defeats Billy Gunn in 2001.
Yeah, was that like a big time like singles match? I was just on Raw.
It was on Raw, but it was still a match.
All right.
Did you do any more? That's the only time they've gone one-on-one.
It's only singles match. Look at that. It was a fresh match.
Madison Square Garden too, so you know it's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a fresh match right there. They should run that match.
And then they turned around and did Christian and Edge defeat Billy Gunn and X-Pac the next night on SmackDown.
Cope against Billy Gunn. Run that on Dynamite next week. Just throwing out like fantastic booking ideas for you, Tony.
Oh, stop it.
Why that match rules? You want to see a Cope against Pac? Who cares?
Kinda. Unless he Pac kick his ass. That's just me.
Well, that's not going to happen. Cope's going to win.
Well, we'll see.
What do you mean we'll see? Cope's going to beat Pac tonight.
Maybe Pac's going to win. Maybe Pac's going to get that plastic bag, that black bag, put it over his head, gingerly walk him down the steps, and take him away.
But Cope's going to win. Cope and Billy Gunn is a real fight. You know, we don't know who's going to win that because Billy ain't just going to roll over.
Tell me about it.
Billy's a big dude. He go after Cope, shoot on him.
Sure, why not? Someone will shoot something. Is CM Punk going to win the Royal Rumble? We should talk about Raw for 10 minutes.
Why?
Why not? This was the one of two really nice things that happened on Raw. The Punk promo was very well executed, very well enjoyed.
Yeah.
He's definitely called out a bunch of people and said he's going to win the Rumble. Is Punk your pick for the Royal Rumble yet, or what?
Maybe. It feels like he's got a chance. And I don't feel any strongly about CM Punk winning than I did a few weeks ago. I think Punk and Roman have the best chances of winning, and then maybe that's the WrestleMania match. But I don't feel this promo didn't really, oh, Punk is definitely going to win now. Roman's going to cut a promo probably on Monday, and I'll probably be like, yeah, Roman's got a strong chance too. I feel a little bit stronger about the other people in the match than I do Punk. Like, I don't think Rollins is going to win. I don't think Sammy's going to win. I don't think Drew's going to win. But I feel stronger about their chances based on the work they did on Monday than I do Punk. Punk just did the same promo that kind of always does, except he threw in Hulk Hogan's name and got a big reaction. He said he's going to toss him the dusty ass over the top rope. And that just feels like they were gauging of what the reaction was going to be to Hogan, because it sounds like Hogan may or may not be at Saturday night's main event, and now they'll know, all right, yeah, we got to lean heel with Hogan here because Punk got cheered with that comment, so we got to make Hogan a heel.
How are you going to lean? Stupid. I don't understand why they think that this is the play when, like, I don't know. They think they're going to manipulate the audience, but the audience at that point is just not going to care. They're just going to sit there.
Are they?
I feel like they're going to be more inclined to boo. You know what they should do? They should just do what they did for TNA on Sunday. Just start chanting, he's a racist. That'll go over well.
Might. They're going to boo, though. They're 100% going to boo. What do you mean they're just going to sit there? They're not just going to sit there and be like,
react, but I don't think they'll react with the boos that Hogan's going to want them to get. Like, because this is the whole thing. It's like, if they're smart enough, they'll react accordingly, but they'll probably boo and just play into the stupid shit. You're right.
So they'll boo, and then, so I think they can manipulate the audience.
Yeah, I'm hoping otherwise. Wilson sent a super chat saying Punk caught himself. He wanted to call Hogan racist, but he said dusty LOL. Yeah, well, two things can be true at once. Yeah, zero react. That's what, like Michael's saying. You know, what about zero reaction? Just silence. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, is that the crowd just doesn't react. They boo him when he comes out, and then when he starts talking, they're just kind of like, all right, that's nice, old man. Go away. Bring me the matches now, please.
You can hope for that. You are probably not going to get that. You are going to get the crowd booing Hulk Hogan. They're going to react. They're not going to give him no reaction.
By the way, speaking of racists, I do need to update you on something, because now has been talked about publicly.
Racist?
The Tessa stuff. I want to update you on the Tessa stuff. We were talking about the media, the interview, the availability, things like that. Well, Wade Keller was actually talking about this on one of his shows. The offer was made for the Torch to interview Tessa and Joe Hendry. It was a package deal, according to Wade. And when Brian from the Torch, Brian Zillum, shout him out, he's very good at what he does. When he said, I'm going to ask about the tweets, they said, no, we'd rather not. It's 6 years ago. We moved past that. That's effectively what they were told. So the Torch said, well, forget it. We're not going to do it.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you now, I'm not speaking out of school. This is on the Fix with Todd Martin from the episode that they dropped today on the free and the Patreon tier. So this is not, again, this is I'm able to talk about it now because now it's out there. Now it is public that they said no, because when they said we're going to ask about it, TNA said no, you're not. So it's there. It happened. And it's a stupid ass decision is what it was.
Credit to the Torch for being like, no, we don't want that interview. Then good on them, because we would have said the same thing. It wasn't offered to us, but we would have said the same thing. If, like, we can't ask about this, we don't want to do the interview. We're not going to be part of your save face media tour on this, because it doesn't do a service to us. It doesn't do a service to you guys as the audience. And I don't think it does a service to Tessa and TNA. I know they think otherwise, that it's like, oh, we're just going to put on a good face and say everything is great. And it's great that Tessa's back and everyone's happy about it. But I think that's disingenuous. And You know, whether people saw that or not through all the interviews she did, I don't know. But that's how I looked at it is cool. You're doing all this, but you're not addressing what people actually want to talk about. And you're not saying maybe what you need to say or people think you should say, and she's not obligated to say any of these things. She's not obligated to make the amends. If she is having conversations in the locker room, that's bigger than having public conversations. But the fact that she's never really addressed it publicly is something. And the fact that TNA is like, yeah, we don't want you talking about it. We don't want you asking about it. Says something as well. So.
Yeah, people in the chat saying wrestling community has a very long memory.
Oh, and
even Love Wrestling, we're just like, yeah, they can understand how TNA thinks they've moved past it, but obviously wrestling community hasn't. And this is, it's such an easy, again, we talked about it, such a layup, so many angles you can take with it, so many opportunities you have to just put it out there, say what you need to say, coach her up, say it on the safest platform you want, trust that that person's going to give it as much grace and just let it out. And that's it. And then people can feel as they will. They can choose to accept it or not. That's not it's once it's out there, once it's addressed, at least then we can say it's one less thing.
Yeah, I'm with Tenruza on here. Sorry, Hendry, they're pairing you with her. Again, it just seems like let's put on a happy face and see how great Tessa is in here. Look, here's Joe Hendry with her. Like, things have got to be good because Joe Hendry's doing the interview with her.
It's not even like fake. It's not even that they're necessarily in the same room. It's that if you're doing one, you're doing both. So that's really what they mean by package deal. If you're going to do the Hendry interview, then you're also going to do the Tessa interview at one point, or like right after, whatever, bang bang. But I don't think it was that they'll be in the same room. Okay. But regardless, it's still the idea that if you want Joe Hendry, who has been your number one guy, at least by fan support, and now you're champion, you're going to attach them is just, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, that feels disingenuous too. Of like, hey, we'll give you a Joe Hendry interview, but you got to also interview Tessa, but you can't ask about this. Like, well, I don't want the Joe Hendry interview.
Yeah, then I guess Joe Hendry's gonna have to find another opportunity.
Yeah, like that feels wrong for Hendry. Like, just let us do the Joe Hendry interview, not us. Like collectively, is what I'm saying. Like, just give us the Joe Hendry interview. I don't feel like Joe Hendry needs to be dragged into this of like, well, they didn't want to interview you because they didn't want to interview Tessa. Like that feels wrong to put Joe Hendry in that spot. Just let Joe Hendry do the interview he wants to. Joe Hendry's another guy. We talked about people who like doing media. Joe Hendry's a guy who wanted to go out there and do a bunch of media. He realized like, hey, I should go out there and promote. And this also helps me. This helps the brand TNA. This helps my brand. This gets me in front of more people, and it helps me potentially become better on television as well, because it gets me more comfortable speaking to other people. And interviews are good in that way because they're not, for the most part, scripted. Like, you don't know what these people are going to ask you. So you got to come up with an answer right off the top. And so that helps you when you're in front of a live audience. Like, Joe Hendry gets that. Joe Hendry is understanding of that. He's been understanding of that all throughout last year. And I think that's why you've seen a rise, among other things, a rise in Joe Hendry, though, is like, he is smart when it comes to that stuff.
I am curious about other people mentioning in the chat if Chris Van Vliet is going to interview Tessa, and that's not a knock at Chris, not at all. I'm just curious because Chris will interview just about anyone and let them tell their story, whatever that means in his world. So I guess we'll find out. Tenruz also sent a super chat saying JBL should run in, win the Rumble out of nowhere. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. He's gonna just run in just like he did on Monday night, deal with the New Day. That's it.
I'm all for this JBL just winning the Rumble because they don't have a plan for him, right? Like,
I don't think he has a plan. I think he just shows up and pops himself.
Taking money, brother. Respect it.
Yeah,
respect it. Like, got no choice but to respect getting that paycheck. If they're just like, hey, come in here and just clothesline a person, be like, all right, sure. That's all you need me to do? Yeah. All right, cool. I'm in. Let's do it.
Someone in the chat asking, to be honest, if anyone does interview and ask the question, why not? Or ask the right questions, why not? And that's the thing. If you ask whatever the right questions are, as long as you don't ask about the one thing they don't want to address, then you're kind of stuck, and you can't just ask the question. Listen, could we do it live on our show and do it because it's a live moment? You could try, but we probably get pulled and get a lot of shit going for us. But like even in a recorded interview, they'll just end it right there. That'll be that, and that should suck. Like saying Fightful should do it. No, we shouldn't, because we're not going to just. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything at that point. They're going to cut the interview off. It's going to be over. And then we're going to have to deal with headaches later on with wanting to do the simple stuff. Then people want to ask about the racist stuff. They'll cut it short. They'll say it's over. And then they'll be like, you can't run it, can't do it. And then you're stuck behind whatever forms of red tape they want to put you behind. Trust me, it's not worth the hassle.
No, there's no point in, if going in that you can't ask about this, there's no point in agreeing to the interview and then asking about it, because you don't want to fully just burn the bridge and burn the relationship like that. That's why if going in, you can't ask about it, you just turn down the interview. That's apparently what PW Torch did. That's what we would do. That's
exactly it.
Yeah. But it doesn't do anybody any good if they said we can't ask about this, we're going to do it anyway. That's bad. Not morals.
It's bad ethics.
Ethics. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's bad ethics to do that. Like, you either going in, this is off topic, and you don't do the interview, or you do the interview and you don't address it, or going in, hey, nothing's off topic, and then you can address it. But if it's off topic, then don't talk about it, because you've been given that guideline and you agreed to that guideline. So you got to kind of honor that. Again, if you don't want to honor that, don't do the interview.
Yeah. And I'm not talking out of school when I use this example, but not too long ago, Sean did an interview with Kylie Ray. And one thing that was off table and this was her call, was her departure from AEW when she left. And we respected that. Everyone was, everyone who kept it was respectful of that. And as a result, that was it. Because you can't, there's a trust that goes into interviews as well. There's a trust that you're going to ask questions that are not just blindsiding. If it's publicly out there, you can publicly ask about it, or at least you should be in most cases. If there's active litigation, you're in a different category. You can't really do that. There are ways to do it that, again, are ethically correct. And I love wrestling mentioning journalistic integrity. That is another portion that comes into it. As much as I don't want to ruffle feathers, I also want to get the answers. So Jeremy and I will tag team in that way, where we get the answers and we find ways to make it that it's not blindsiding anyone. Everyone's well aware of what they've said or what they're doing and what they need to answer to.
Yeah, you don't want to blindside guest like that either. And again, it doesn't do any service, because if you do that, now you're probably never getting an interview with that outlet again. If it is like a major promotion, like a TNA or an AEW or WWE, like, you don't want to burn that bridge, because it's not only like interview, there is access stuff, like, because it's very clear it's not like it wasn't clear. You know what I mean? Like, it's clear, hey, don't talk about this. Okay, I've agreed to this. It's no different than if we're not even talking about an interview. You go into a store and it says shirt and shoes required. You wear shirt and shoes. If you don't go in with a shirt, you leave. It's clear. Like, I know that's a very surface level example, but that's what it is. You've agreed, once you've entered this store, to wear a shirt and shoes. If you don't wear your shirt, they can agree to kick you out and just not let you back in.
Just make sure it's not a WWE shirt in a TNA store. That's all. And Tenru's asking, Joel, do you see WWE having more influence over media obligations from TNA? No. However, selfishly, God, I wish. But that's just me. I don't know I don't think that this is, I think the talent will have opportunities to work with WWE's communications team when it comes to messaging, interviewing, things you should say, things you shouldn't say. I think that will go into part of the talent development of the work with TNA and WWE. But I don't foresee the WWE comms team, who, by the way, are extremely busy on their own time doing what they do now, suddenly taking on a whole other brand of talent and performers and all that stuff to do. I think it's a more surface level partnership like that. But again, we'll see. I selfishly, again, I would love it. It would help certain situations, but we are where we are. And Will Chisholm sent us you. Yeah, that's right. You laugh it off. Will Chisholm sent a super chat saying, "I hate that Jordan Grace's last match was with her, Tessa Blanchard. Everything you did for TNA, thanks. Now put Tessa over. Makes me love Jordan more." And you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. Jordan is married to Jonathan Gresham. She's married to a black man. And like, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, I can't believe that. No, that's not my place. It's just another thing that I just saw the photo of them two together, and I was like, and they're often like together and happy and doing their shtick, and I'm like, man, that is what it is. It's not something I would have done to someone who flew the flag so highly for the brand for so long, but did business on the way out. That's all that mattered.
Yeah, she got a cake and a title belt as well,
so. And they all signed the title belt.
Yeah.
They had a great summer.
Yeah, it was a little like, bless Jordan, super professional. And, she knew she was going on. So she understood. She got it. She's a pro. It was a little like, really, you're going to, like, they see Tessa as a big star. They see Tessa as now their new face of the women's division. And that's their call.
Yep, it is. Where am I? What do you want to talk about now? Do you want to?
We can.
Yeah, you want to do it? You bring it up.
We can talk about the Ricky Starks situation. I'll read it. So this comes from Ibu of Wrestle Purist and also the WWE Raw review here on Fightful, and he said that Starks has asked for his release in the past, and Tony Khan will not grant him his release. And so now Ricky's just going to have to wait it out, and he's going to continue to work independent dates to keep his name out there, which is a good move by Ricky instead of sitting around and potentially doing nothing. I hope Ricky can continue to take independent dates. It looks like the GCW stuff, I don't know if he's going to be allowed to take those, but he worked House of Glory over the weekend. He faced Mike Santana at House of Glory. I think he's got some other stuff coming up. Spoiler. We're talking to Cody Lane on Spotlight next week. Cody faced Ricky at Glory Pro in December. I think that match was December. It was November, but regardless, that was Ricky's big return to kind of the independent scene. Is he popped up in Glory Pro and worked with Cody Lane. So we're going to talk to Cody Lane next week. But Ricky, hopefully I'm sure he's not going to be hurting for bookings if people call and want him. He'll get plenty of phone calls. Otherwise, there's not too much on this. We go into the discussion of should a wrestler be granted their release if they are asked, and there's two sides on that. I see both sides. I think I've always seen both sides. Is if you're not going to use the person and they want to be released, I sympathize with the wrestler of like, hey, just go ahead and wrestle or go ahead and release them. There's also like the wrestler signed a contract and they're obligated to fulfill that contract. So you got to stick with it. But if they're asking and you're not using them, it just feels like you should probably release them. And it doesn't look like that's going to happen. We don't know if there's been stuff pitched to Ricky, if he's turned stuff down or whatever the creative thing is. We've heard all the reports in the past, and that's a two sides to a story type of thing. And I'm sure it'll come out at some point. Not if you ask Tony Khan. If you ask Tony Khan, it's Ricky Starks is great. We can't wait to have Ricky back on television.
Can't wait to bring him back. Meanwhile, then I think this is what is most frustrating, is that they picked up the option on Ricky, and they still iced him. They had him backstage at Full Gear, and he was allegedly, or he was reportedly welcomed. I don't think anyone has a problem with him per se, but you're icing him. You're just leaving him. You're leaving him out to dry. and you kept him on the extra year. That to me is what's most frustrating. Not the ask for your release and you don't get like whatever. If you got to wait out your contract, it's fine. But like your contract could have been over last year, but for some reason you picked up the option. For what purpose? What does that serve? I think that's where I'm most annoyed about it. And it's not like a Ricky versus the world type of thing. It's just like, why would you go out that way? Like, why would you go out of your way to not just let it go? Could have been an easy fix.
If you're AEW and you look at all these people going over, like it, I'm sure there's a little bit of it's a little disheartening of now kind of the shoes on the other foot with people going over to WWE and getting treated like a big deal when they go over there. That's how it used to be with AEW. You know, everybody from WWE wanted to leave and go to AEW and they were treated like a big star. And now it's the opposite. People in AEW want to leave and go back to WWE or go to WWE because they're treated like a big star. You know, in a couple of years, the momentum might swing the other way. That's typically how the wrestling business sort of works. And that's the good thing about having two viable companies like this is WWE is not going to be able to find television time for all of these people. They advertised Lyra Valkyria for Raw, and all they did was run a video package. Like, they're not going to have time to service all of these people. That's what AEW ran into, is they got so much talent, they didn't have time to service all of those people. And so then the people who weren't being used felt like, oh, shit, why am I not being used? I'd go here. They're treating people well over here. They're using people well over here. I'm going to go here. WWE is going to potentially run into that problem of, oh, man, now we got so much talent that we're not using certain people. And those people who aren't being used, who maybe were used in the past, they're going to be like, oh, well, maybe I'll go back or I'll go to AEW or I'll make a name on the independent. Like, that's just sort of how things swing. You know, when it comes to Ricky, yeah, the option thing is I don't know what the benefit of an option is for the wrestlers. I know what the benefit, because we've talked about, and maybe we need to have somebody on who can talk about an option year when it comes to wrestling. Josh Alexander's not doing podcasts, sadly, but I would love to talk about just Josh Alexander of that particular aspect of. Go ahead.
He will be doing one in a month here in Toronto. Him and Macklin, and I'm trying.
Okay.
Leave it at that, because I can do my monthly. I can do my 6 month Macklin interview, and I can maybe tack on.
Did Macklin have an option on his TNA contract?
No, I think Macklin was a re-signing that they went back and forth on a little bit. And he's talked. I'm not talking out of school here. I'm pretty sure with Macklin it was they went back and forth for a while. There was a lot of this was with him and Scott at the time, and there was just a lot of like putting chips on the table, figure out what works best. So yeah, that's where that was.
Okay. So in real sports, sorry, wrestling, and basketball is the most example of an option. And that's what I equate to wrestling. And you get a player or you get a team option. I don't know if they have player options in wrestling, because it seems like it's just team options. It seems like it's just a company option. And TNA, or not TNA, well, TNA, yes. But AEW, they're the ones picking up the option. Doesn't seem like the wrestlers get that player option of, yeah, I'll sign a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option. But if I'm not being used well, or I think I'm worth more, I'm going to decline that option. And then I can be a free agent. It seems like it's just the team option where AEW or TNA or whoever has the player option has the team option of sign a 2-year deal with a 3rd-year option. And we have the choice of picking that up. And it seems like more often than not, they pick that up unless the person, you're William Regal, and you get to be like, hey, don't pick up my option. And then Tony Khan's like, all right, sure. You know, things are not great personally for me right now. I will not pick up your option. I understand. I sympathize with all of this. Like in basketball and this. So Ryan's saying baseball has strictly player option. So again, I look at it as in basketball terms, because that's what I'm most familiar with. Player option, as we kind of mentioned, the player gets to do it. The team will also, there's also team options. There's examples of that for basketball terms. The good example of a team option is, hey, if you're outplaying that contract, let's say you sign a $15 million deal for 3 years, the third year is a team option. And after 2 years, you're playing like a $30 million player. Well, the team's like, yeah, we're going to pick up your option and only pay you $15 million. And now we got you on a cheaper contract than you would have gotten elsewhere. And now we can start to continue to build around you. In wrestling, it doesn't make sense to agree to a team option. And if you're a player in basketball, why you would agree to a team option is like, oh, well, okay, I got that third year now. At least that's potentially a guarantee that I'm going to get 15 million. Maybe I'm underperforming my 15 million. And, then I can go to free agency after 2 years, and then maybe I can find more on the open market. Yeah, if I'm overperforming that 15 million, maybe I'll make a little bit less, but at least I know I'm getting a guaranteed 15 million in that year. With wrestling, it's different just because it's based on booking, like if you're Ricky Starks and you agree to this option, you're basically hopefully ensuring that you're going to be booked well for the entire 3 years. And if you're not booked well after 2 years and you're like, oh, well, yeah, I went out after 2 years, but they have the option to tack on that third year, they just can. That's why I don't know why, if you agree to it in wrestling, of like, why give the company that option? You're already at the company's whim because they can release you at any time. So now you're basically given the option of, yeah, they're going to tack on this third year, but if I'm not being booked well, I might want out. And if I am being booked well, then I'm probably going to want more money. And so I don't know if I want the option year after that either. I guess the incentive is, if you're a wrestling company, the incentive is, well, we're gonna book you strong because we've got you for 3 years. But we know how that works, right? Like, it doesn't always work out that way. So I just don't know. Like, this is why I would like to talk to somebody who's dealt with an option in wrestling, of like, why agree to this? Like, from your perspective, why is it good to agree to what is essentially a team option?
So Deanna's another example of this. Deanna Purrazzo, she had an option tacked onto her Impact at the time contract that it got picked up. Why a wrestler might agree to an option is, others are saying in the chat, you don't have a lot of options for employment as a wrestler. As a contracted wrestler, you're kind of hoping for the best, so that it's like having a sales position and getting commission. You want the most amount of commission better, and then the more commission you get, the more you get looked at, and the more you get an opportunity for, say, a management job, or a better contract that adds more stability down the line. So the hope is they pick up the option so that you can continue to make more money for them, but also you make more money on the option, hypothetically, because an option should hypothetically come with a pay bump, but we don't know for sure because we don't see the contracts. With this, I mean, I don't know if the Ricky Starks contract option included a pay raise, because at that point it's even dumber to everything we've just spoken about. We got a super chat from Ryan Adams saying, perfect example are my Minnesota Timberwolves. Randall has a player option of 30 million that he controls, so he decides what the Wolves can do unless they trade him.
Yes, that is what we talked about, player options. But it doesn't seem like in wrestling there are too many player options. It seems like it's always a team option. You don't hear about wrestling of, oh, Deanna Purrazzo decided she was going to execute her option to stay with TNA because maybe she didn't think she was going to get as much from WWE or AEW. So she's like, oh, you know what? I'm happy in TNA. My husband's here. I'm making good money. I'm going to stay here. Yeah. In basketball, you see a lot of player options because players, their money can fluctuate. That's a big thing with player options is, Julius Randle, 30 million. If Julius Randle goes on free agency right now, is he getting 30 million from another team? I don't know, but he has a guaranteed 30 million from the team that he's currently on. So yeah, let me take that 30 million.
Deanna, by the way, I don't think she knew about the extension / the option option until it was picked up. I think she had plans to leave, and then TNA/Impact picked up the option, and that was kind of a situation where they had to redo her contract as a result. Like Big Man Dogs is in the chat mentioning, the money. The guess to the answer is the money is good, so I just went with it. And this just goes back to like, how many places can you go to work, especially if you're just starting out? Like Ricky was coming from the NWA, where he wasn't getting that full-time wrestling ability, whereas AEW was offering him however much money to do that hypothetically. And so you take that because you're trying to follow that dream. And if that dream falls through, then you're in a situation like this, which sucks. But he's getting paid. So it sucks in terms of not being able to exercise your creativity to your fullest extent on national television. From a money standpoint, from a financial standpoint, like you're getting paid. Hopefully you're able to pay your bills as a result of being iced, but it still sucks. It's like sitting at home on paid leave. You get bored after a while.
And the big difference, or a difference, it is sort of a big difference, but between wrestling and real sports is, and this is why I don't fully like companies having these options. Like they can release you at any time anyway. So why am I going to give the company more control of, oh, you have a 30-year option that you can just like decline or pick up if I'm not happy about you picking it up, and then I'm kind of stuck, or you're just basically releasing me after 2 years, but they can release you after 1 year if they want to. And it's not like that in like basketball. The Timberwolves aren't just going to release Julius Randle. If they do, they got to pay some money there. That's why you see buyouts in basketball, and the buyout is basically, we're just going to pay you the money you're already owed anyway and let you go, and then you can go sign with a new team. Where it's not like that in wrestling. They just release you and you get paid for 90 days and then that's it, but you might not get the value of what you had in the contract. So wrestling contracts are super weird. I think
they're dumb. A lot of them are dumb. The TNA ones are dumb, especially getting exclusivity, and it's a whole other can of worms.
Like I think we know that. I think we know wrestling contracts are sort of what they are. I'm always fascinated with contracts though, because I follow just that aspect of it in real sports. And like my thing in real sports is always, well, it ain't my money. I don't care how much you pay this person. But when I'm looking at different trade scenarios, when I'm looking at different like signing scenarios for my teams, I am mindful of the money. It's like, well, we don't have the money to spend on this person, or, well, the money doesn't work on this trade. So that's why contracts definitely fascinate me. And because I play so much NBA 2K, I'm like, I don't want to take on this bad contract. This is going to be my rebuilding year. So I don't want to take on more long-term contracts when, 4 years from now, I'm looking at this free agent and I need to sign this free agent. So I love contract talk. I know Sean loves contract talk as well. I'm very fascinated of the options when it comes to wrestling contracts. So
I'm curious about WWE contracts right now, just because they have so much going on in terms of their content, in terms of their brand deals, in terms of just everything that they have. I'm curious as to how they navigate those waters in a WWE contract. A lot of the verbiage is obviously going to be legalese, but like how, I don't know. There's compared to other wrestling companies, WWE just has a vast net of resources and sponsorship or just money opportunities that they can draw from, that it almost feels like talent has not limitless, but a whole lot more than just appearing on Monday Night Raw and having a match or doing a storyline than other companies might have. It's not a dig at any other company. It's just, I'm curious about how that contract would look compared to like an AEW contract, where you're going to be there for your Dynamites or your Collisions, your pay-per-views, and then maybe some media opportunities here and there, or your Ring of Honor as well. Like there's not as much going on in the AEW ecosystem compared to, say, the WWE. So the contract would also differ. And then getting an option picked up at random when you shouldn't have it picked up, which is the case of Ricky Starks.
And I can message Sean and see if he has any desire to join us. I don't know what Sean's doing.
Sean's got something at 1:00. I know that much.
Oh, is that an interview?
Yeah, he's got an interview at 1.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. I didn't see what time it was, but I saw that.
So I see that one. Ryan Adams saying, what are the chances Carmella told Corey Graves, hey, we got 4 kids, get back to work? I think it's more that Corey got a call and said, hey, listen, I know you're upset right now, but if you just hang on for like 4 more months, Pat's going to be gone. Pat's going to go back to work doing other stuff. So we'll bring you back on, but why don't you just go hang out, go to Orlando, go hang out with Booker, and go hang out with Vic for a few months, and we'll see you back there, okay? All right, suck it. See you later. Bye. I think it was a cooler heads prevail conversation. I think Corey was upset. I mentioned burnout, and I think I just explained it in a poor way. I think he was frustrated, rightfully so. And I think because he's so hard, so leaned upon for the work that he does, I think he got frustrated because he was burnt out because of everything. And he took it publicly when he shouldn't have. And like I said, cooler heads prevailed. There was conversations, and he came back to work. It's good to see Corey Graves come back. Hopefully he's been made whole as a result of this.
Yeah. He was on the show last night, and good on him. We'll see if it goes anywhere, if they turn it into some type of an angle, or it was just he vented, he got it out, they talked it over, they smoothed it over. He's going to be calling NXT until August when McAfee goes back to college football, and then Graves is on Raw. You know, we'll see what happens, but
it is what it is. He's happy. You froze, so I'm happy. Zeno Hour saying, I don't love the 3-man booth for NXT so far. And I agree, because the last thing I need to hear is, Shocky Doggy Quack. It's just bad. It's so bad. I hate 3-man booths for NXT.
Booker T rules, though.
No, stop it. Does not rule.
He's awesome.
By the way, for those who are watching NXT, you notice what they did again? You notice what they did with the NXT title again? They immediately went back to the hot chase for Trick Williams, because they know that always gets people going. They know that the money is in the chase when it comes to Trick Williams, and they're going to run that thing to Vengeance Day. They did it again. I just watched it. I was like, those sons of bitches, they knew what they were doing. That show was such a nothing show last night. I watched it in 45 minutes. It was a nothing show. I'm sorry. It was not good.
You know what my biggest complaint is for NXT?
What's that?
Joel? Where in the fuck is Thea Hale?
Yes.
What is happening here?
Well,
why is nobody asking?
They closed down Chase U.
Why is nobody asking about Thea Hale? She has not wrestled since July. She did the Chase U storyline. She took bumps in that. Rich Holland bumped her in that whole thing. She's not even part of like Andre Chase's redemption or whatever they're trying to do with him. She had the great match against Roxanne Perez in July that even Roxanne Perez was like, that was fun. Like, Thea Hale really got to show out. I hope people start taking notice of Thea Hale. And then she hasn't been on television. She hasn't wrestled on television since then. What the fuck is happening with Thea Hale? Why is nobody asking about this? This next NXT media call, someone needs to ask, where's Thea Hale? What's going on with Thea Hale? Get your shit together, Shawn Michaels.
Thea Hale died on her way back to her home planet. Everyone should be asking, where's Thea Hale? When Thea Hale's not on screen, someone should be asking, where's Thea Hale? Well,
I'm legitimately upset.
Listen, she should be on every show. I get it. She should be the lead announcer for all these shows. Could you imagine? My God, sentient cocaine going a mile a minute. Raw would be 2 minutes instead of 2 hours. Will Chisholm said, I didn't know. I wanted Julia and Bayley as a tag team, but that match should be good. And I think the Meta Girls are winning the tag titles. The second part I don't know about, but certainly the Julia Bayley tag team looks good. They're doing Center Stage in Atlanta next week. That's a big show for NXT. That venue is hilarious to watch them set up for, because they got random staircases that go down to the bowels of the arena from like the way the ring is set up. It's very strange, but it's cool. Yeah. it'll be a good show next week. This week just felt like not much else going on. Let's set up the Atlanta show. It's good. But Julia and Bayley as a tag team, it'll be the opportunity for Bayley to get a win. She'll probably pin Miss Emo fucking tears over here. This time they can do the short, right? We can make the short this time. Yeah. Anyway, Cora Jade.
I already made the short. The short worked. TNA tried to fuck on me with their copyright.
Bunch of dicks. Yeah. So Bayley will get a pin on what's her face on Cora Jade. That's fine. File driver saying I really like the short. Good, because Cora Jade needs to stop doing that shit.
It was a good short. I was very proud of myself. I've made one short per day in January.
Very proud.
Everyone, please I almost said please crap for me. Please move your bowels for me, everyone.
That's what I'm doing after the show, so you're set. That's my plan after the show, so you're set. It's all good. Oh man, yeah. Sean's mentioning last time NXT was at center stage, they did the weird stage and stairs configuration. Yeah, they'll do it again, where like the wrestlers come out on the stage, they walk down the stairs, and they walk back up the stairs to get to the ring. They should just do the mini ramp like TNA did when they were there. Easy peasy, just for you. Oh my god. Anything else going on? The next Knockouts champion. No, stop it.
I mean, she might be, dude.
No, I don't want her to win any TNA title. Oh, you people
that
are
would
awful.
rule.
She dethrones Masha Slamovich. Only if she gets to call herself Elena Blackheart, like hardcore queen again. That's the only way I'm fine with it.
She talked about, her death matches and stuff. She was on Busted Open after NXT. She talked about doing all that. Bully Ray was very surprised. He clearly had no idea what this woman did before NXT.
It's like, I get it. She was a Chicago indie girl. Like she was. You know what happened? Okay, she was picked up in that random. Was it 2019? Yeah, it was the 2019 when they did the women's breakout tournament. She was just randomly like. One day she was there after she worked like Warrior the weekend before. And I remember being like, oh, it's the tag tournament. They did a random ass tag tournament and she was in it. And I was like, the fuck is this? I think she teamed with like Lacey Lane, who was Caden Carter. There was a weird pairing of that. She just showed up in this random ass tag tournament. Maybe she was Zoe Stark's tag partner. Regardless, she didn't show up with any pomp and circumstance. She just showed up one day, and now she is who she is. That's Izzy Dame. That is who it is. Oh, right.
It rules. Oh. I'm a fan of it now. I love it. It pops me now when I see it because you hate it so much.
Every time people who watch this show see it, I hope you think of me.
That sounds bad.
Good.
I do it with her. She comes out. She's like, welcome to the generation of Jade. And she does it. And I do it too. I'm just like, yeah.
I was like, don't you do it. Don't you dare do it. Don't do it. Is there anything else? There's so much from wrestling we didn't talk about.
We didn't talk about any wrestling. This show was great today.
It really was. Now I can change to the Ricky Starks thumbnail and change everything over. That's fine. Yeah, her theme sucks too.
It's just the generic rock that like I feel everyone in that company has.
It's generic screamo metal bullshit. It's not good. There's better bands you could whatever. It's dumb.
It's better bands. They don't use real bands.
Louis gets it. Anyway, not important. Oh man. She certainly didn't learn that taunt in Chicago. Oh, it's awful. Anyway. Anything else we need to plug, talk about, get into?
Yeah, Dynamite.
Oh yeah, Dynamite's tonight. Holy shit, I'm sorry.
Everybody let us know what song we should be singing for the Dynamite theme this week.
Yes. What should be the theme for tonight's Dynamite?
Yeah.
Teo Cruz's Dynamite.
What song should Joel sing? Joel's got to sing.
Why do I have to sing?
I don't know.
Oh, when I saw you do the Cora Jade, this is what it was. I saw you do the Cora Jade article and you used that Genesis thing. I was like, son of a bitch, he's doing it for me.
No, that's just it's a good thumbnail. Like
that's fine.
That's an easy thumbnail to use. I'm going to use that thumbnail for every single Cora Jade article now.
They can give her Paige's ex-boyfriend's theme. I didn't even need to mute myself for that shit. Thank you, Will. Got me so good with that. So what should tonight's Dynamite theme be?
A Rare Beast says, I want to hold your hand by the Beatles. I don't know any songs by the Beatles.
Did you know that there's a German version of that song? It's called Come Give Me Your Dinah Hand.
Is that
Come
true?
give me Dinah Hand. Come give me a Dinah Hand. Yeah, there's a whole German version of it. You can find it. There's a few one. I don't know it anymore.
Do you know the members of the Beatles?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I don't. It's John, Paul.
Yeah, halfway there.
Ringo.
Yeah, okay.
Tommy.
No.
You sure?
Positive.
Jacob.
No. You're closer with Jacob, but still not there.
Jack.
No, it's a J, but it's not a J.
Jacob.
You just went back to it.
Oh wait. Oh, Joe, but not a J. How does that make any sense?
What other J sounds are? What are you, my toddler?
What are the J sounds like?
What other G? There you go.
Jimothy.
No, you got your 3. You got one more. He is mostly forgotten, but his was, you know.
Jacob.
No, we did that already.
Hold on. Let's start over.
I hate you so much.
There's John.
Yes.
There's Paul.
Yeah.
There's Ringo.
Yes, there is.
Star?
Ringo Starr was his name. Yes, that's the drummer.
Stardust.
No, that's Cody Rhodes.
Oh. But not a J?
It's a J. It's a G.
Jacob?
No, we've already done that one too. Multiple times. Boy, this is really hurting me.
Jingle? John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt?
Stop reading the chat. Close the chat.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name too.
Chat, don't you
Whenever we go out, the people always shout, there goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da, 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 John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name.
All right, we gotta stop this.
That was gonna be the Dynamite theme. You cut me off.
Don't worry, I did it for good reason. Chat, don't give it away. It's not Gene, Geraldo, Gary, Gilbert. Gilbert Gottfried is actually the 4th Beatle. Goldberg. Gus. Come on, man. The most common G name.
Jacob.
Who the fuck do you know named Jacob with a G?
Well, let me tell you about this one guy that I've heard of.
Heard of? You son of a
bitch. Gertrude. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's right.
Gangrel?
Yeah, it's Gangrel.
Jacob?
Son of a bitch.
I don't. Groot. That's a good
Not
name.
Groot. God damn it, it's George.
Gerard?
It's George. God damn it, it's George.
Are you sure?
It was the King of England.
Oh, jeez. Wade Barrett? I don't know.
Joel with the
King of
G.
England.
Oh, God. Yes, John, Paul,
George?
Ringo, and George.
That doesn't sound right.
It's George, yes.
Debatable.
George Steinbrenner went on to own the Yankees.
Debatable that it was George.
All right, sure.
Do you have facts? Do you have proof?
I do. Yes, I do. I do. Yeah.
All right, let me sing John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt again. So that could be the theme for Dynamite.
Sure. Can we run down Dynamite after that so we can go?
Okay. We're gonna run through John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt 3 times, everybody, and then that's gonna be the new theme.
I guess we counted out how long that takes per each round.
3 times, everyone. Everyone in the chat, sing it with me. Are you ready? And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, there goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da 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 da. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, there goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da 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 da. Third time, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, there goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da, 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 da.
The cat is scared.
Kids are probably like, the fuck is wrong with our stepfather?
Why aren't your kids at school?
It's -5 degrees out, Joel. We have morals here in Ohio that don't send kids to school at -5 degrees.
Get a bus, cowards.
My lovely wife just texted me, do you hear this, man? And one of the children said, yes, he's insane.
Well, at least they know. Oh,
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, there goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da, 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 da. John Jacob. Yeah. Uh-huh. His name was my name too. Yeah. Uh-huh. Whenever we go out. Oh, I like that. The people always shout. Yeah. There goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da, 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 da. I added the ad-libs, the book of
this sucks. Headphone users need a warning. That sucks. I'm wearing in-ear monitors, and that sucked. I could have turned it down, but I was too busy enjoying my lollipop.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout. There goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da, 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 da.
Boom! All right.
Dynamite's tonight. I don't know what the hell's on this show.
Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega meet face to face. Swerve Strickland takes on AR Fox from a match in 2003. Sorry, 2023. Fuck, can't believe he did that. AEW Tag Team Championships, Private Party take on the Hurt Syndicate. Mimosa Joe takes on Nick Wayne.
Yeah, sure.
Julie Hart, Jamie Hayter, 2.
Let's see if
This
we
is the
can
second time they're doing it.
Balloons for there
Here's
we go.
the balloons. Thank you. Greatest bit we've ever done.
That was a hilarious bit. We didn't know it was a thing. It's so absurd.
And Cope versus Pac. What match opens up tonight?
It should be Cope and Billy Gunn. Who could possibly care?
I think the opening. Oh man. I think they'll open with Swerve and AR Fox.
Okay. Do you think Hurt Syndicate win the tag titles? I feel like that's the biggest thing coming out of this is they're probably going to set up Ospreay and Omega against Fletcher and Takeshita for Grand Slam Australia. But the other thing is Private Party and Hurt Syndicate. Do you think Hurt Syndicate win the titles?
If they don't do it tonight, then they'll maybe put it at Grand Slam Australia and make that the tag title match. The tag title switch hands there. People asking, will Megan Bain be on the show? Megan is she's booked for the UK shows for GCW. I think
maybe not,
but I don't know for sure. She's not done there, I'll tell you that much. So who knows? That's the question. What does someone screw Private Party out? Does Hurt Syndicate just squash Private Party?
Yeah, why does somebody need to screw Private Party? I think if anything, like
themselves.
Hurt Syndicate would maybe get screwed over. Like maybe like Max Caster tries to like prove he wants to be part of Hurt Syndicate, even though he's the best wrestler alive and he doesn't need it. Like it doesn't. I haven't fully fleshed out this idea clearly, but Caster was just the first name that came to mind. Like, but maybe Leo's kind of doing his own thing, but that's the only thing I could see is I don't think Private Party needs to be screwed out of the titles. Like they should just lose the titles. It would be, how does Hurt Syndicate slip on the banana peel and not win?
Who the hell goes after Hurt Syndicate when they win those tag titles? That's the other question.
The Hounds of Hell, brother.
Oh, Darby, not Darby, sorry.
Darby.
Brody and Buddy.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for that tag team. That tag team's going to rule.
That would be good. Cerberus.
No, I think they're going to be Hounds of Hell or Hell Hounds or whatever.
Megan Bay back in Onano Bay. It's going to get so much play. Already has, baby. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what else happens on the show. Nick Wayne and Mimosa Joe will be fine. Yes, tag title's got a lot of people talking. Is this? Do you give it to the Hurt Syndicate and just end Private Party's reign? Do you let Private Party have a moment?
No,
I agree, but yeah,
no. I think that I think Private Party loses the titles.
I'm also on that boat. I think it's true.
Yeah.
But either way, we'll be back on Friday to talk about that. Plenty else more. Jeremy, do you have anything to plug?
No, never.
Thinking about that real hard. Watch the interview with Kevin Blackwood that they're doing tomorrow on the Spotlight, or that will air tomorrow on the Spotlight. And that show's still on 8:30 a.m. Eastern for the time being.
Yeah, apparently that got spoiled. I was trying to do this like big build.
He spoiled it on the weekend or 2 weeks ago, and then he brought it out on the Spotlight. And I was just like, I think you guys should have talked about how you're going to roll this out. But
well, I tried to, and then it didn't happen. So I guess everybody knows, or if you don't know, beginning in February, I was going to do like the big announcement and hype this up, but forget it. We're just going to do it on this show.
I thought you were going to have some mana before you went ham on that.
I mean, I guess. Well, big announcement on Friday. We'll at least tease it for one episode. Jeremy Lambert has a big announcement on Friday. There you go, everyone.
Boy, I hope Dynamite doesn't suck so that our viewers don't tank for that announcement. Well, now I got to redo the thing, because usually it's me with the huge announcement. I got to change it to you.
Someone's got to make I have a huge announcement.
We'll see.
It's airing at 2 a.m. for some people, I assume. It's 2 a.m. somewhere. Yeah,
that's right. But right now it's 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and we've done our Netflix Raw. we went our allotted time. We're out of it. I got to update the thumbnail and everything else that comes with this show. So I guess for Jeremy Lambert, I am at thejoelpearl.com over on Blue Sky. Such an obnoxious way to put it, but I have to do it this way.
You don't have to. No one's forcing you to.
Just look me up on Blue Sky. That's where I'm at. I'm on Instagram too. I just if you try to friend request or follow request me on Twitter, those are just sitting in a box. I don't know if I'm gonna let people in or out. The bots all get declined, but other people, I spend like 30 days sitting on your account trying to figure out, are you good or are you weird? A lot of weirdos out there, Jeremy Lambert. We are two of them. We're here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern. For now. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? For Jeremy Lambert, you know who I am. You know who he is. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Okay. Cheers.